Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it.
My name's Jay Milne. #Blue.
Our sports update deliverer, the Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest.
All right, here's what's going on in the nest.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. What's going on in Edmonton Sports? Oh, my goodness. The Stanley Cup Final starts tomorrow. Oilers against the Panthers. That, of course, is the big story this week, but we do also have the Elks kicking off their season on Saturday. Riverhawks tonight with their home opener. We're streaming the game, right? Not you and me. Edmonton Sports Talk.
Correct.
Streaming the game. Victoria Harbor Cats. We had Steve Hogle on the show yesterday, the director of fun for the Riverhawks. We're going to have lots of clips today from Media Day at Rogers Place. We'll hear from some of the players. I find, Jay, and you and I were listening to stuff, there are some comments from players that are getting a little bit repetitive. Because now this is Media Day. A lot of media are here who haven't been asking Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Draisaitl, etc., the questions that me and others have been asking for days, weeks, or even months. So we don't have any comments today about the Oilers' experience or losing last year or understanding what goes on in the Stanley Cup Final. They might be alluded to in a couple of clips, but that's not going to be the focus of some things. But there were some really interesting things. Stan Bowman, the GM of the team, took some questions. So we'll dive into that. Most of it during the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. We will hear a bit from Nuge, a bit from McDavid, a little bit from... You know what? Well, let's hear from Leon Draisaitl right now. Because, I mean, this is a well-known storyline, but it is a storyline for sure. There's sort of these four guys, if you want to go back, right? Nugent Hopkins, Nurse, Draisaitl, McDavid, all drafted very high, or in a couple cases at the top of the draft, all joined the Oilers when the team stunk, and all continued to play for the team while they stunk, though a little bit less, I guess, for McDavid. I mean, McDavid, they did make the playoffs in his second year, but then they went back to missing for a couple more years. And those are the guys, you know, the captain and the alternate captains. So those are the guys, like this is, like we often call this the McDavid-Draisaitl era, but you could even throw in Nurse and Nugent Hopkins there as well, even if they're not the marquee guys. Like, is that fair? Is that the Oilers' core four?
How dare you say that?
But
here.
those are the. But
sure, that does.
There's a certain amount of, even though Nuge is the old man of the bunch, like there is a certain amount of grew up together. You know, like even McDavid a few years ago. Had that thing like when they were hitting 24, 25, he was like, well, we don't go to the pint after games anymore or whatever. Right. A couple of the guys have had kids. I guess they would all be married now, except Leon is coming up to be married. So, they've gone through that age in their life where they've matured as people and they've seen some stuff professionally, right? So Draisaitl today was asked about this journey with those other three guys.
Yeah, I mean they're my best friends. We've been through a lot of bad years, a lot of tough times here, and now a lot of good times as well. And obviously our dream, our goal is to finish this off now, and hopefully we can do it for, most importantly, for ourselves, but for the people of Edmonton, the fan base, the organization. They live with us, and the passion is just it feels different around here. So we're excited to get another crack at it.
Yeah, a good clip there from Draisaitl. Pretty honest, and he's interesting to listen to. And as we've talked about, I don't blame him for this. If it's a question he doesn't think is that great or doesn't feel like answering, he won't. But that was good. Acknowledging what they've been through, how they've grown up together. acknowledging the, let's face it, almost mania that there can be for the team. But I don't mind that he said, like, I don't think anybody would view this as disrespectful, but I'm glad he acknowledged what he said. I mean, I'm glad he acknowledged the fans, but I'm glad he said, we want to do this for ourselves. I mean, to me, that's where it starts. And then, of course, he mentioned the fan base, but to me, that's what it's all about. I mean, they play for the Edmonton Oilers. They are cheered on by millions of fans, let's face it, around the world, as we know. But that's what it's all about, guys. Like, go out and do this because you want to do it.
Well, they're the ones doing it.
They're the ones doing it. And I like that he said that in that answer.
No, that shouldn't be taken the wrong way. That's just a competitor that wants to win the highest achievement with his best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you live for as a professional athlete. So yeah, I'm not surprised he said that one bit. Does that mean he doesn't acknowledge of course not.
No, but you know who.
But there's no mincing words there.
No.
They want this for them, for those guys in the locker room, for those that were there before, and those that are there now. That's what they're playing for, no question.
And sort of the same general theme, but a good comment from Nuge today as well about having been an Oiler for his whole career. And let's face it, eventually he'll become the franchise's all-time games played leader. He had this to say.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a huge, massive honor for me to be able to do it with one team and this team. They're obviously such a historic team, and their fan base has just been so incredible for so long. Even in the early years when things weren't going well, you still felt that support and you felt that passion every day. So it's been a huge honor for me. I think I was lucky to get through some of those years where it seemed like everybody was kind of getting traded, and you wanted to, and the team wanted to go different directions here and there, and they've always stuck by me, and something I'm super grateful for, and obviously to do the ultimate goal would be a massive accomplishment for this whole city, and something that we're going to do our very best to do.
Yeah, a little bit there from Nugent Hopkins. I mean, if they get it done, and we were saying, well, in different capacities last year, because you and I weren't working together, but perhaps the royal we, whether you're a media fan or whatever, we were saying a lot of these things last year. If they could do it, how big it would be, guys. But there would have to be some significance, and we've seen it with other great players. I mean, Crosby joined the Penguins when they stunk. I mean, what they had. Wasn't it 4 years in a row where they drafted first, second? Even the Chicago team that won 3, I mean, Kane and Taves were high draft picks. So for those guys who've been here a long time, there is that significance of it's about more than them, but I still think they would have a little bit of pride of we helped pull it out of the muck. Like we stayed with it. And I know there were guys who were traded that wasn't their wasn't up to Taylor Hall or whoever, wasn't their fault that they were traded. But for whatever reason, the guys who have been here a long time and been on terrible, terrible teams, like there would have to be, if they get to lift it, that satisfaction at some point. Like we've actually climbed, and like we started at the bottom.
That's what it's about.
We didn't get parachuted in.
Yeah.
Nothing against a Trent Frederick or a Jake Wallman, for example, but that's a different journey.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this is all about. Is the journey, is knowing where you came from, knowing how desperate this city was for a winning hockey team. And now, like we've said before, and I'm sure we'll say it again, they've delivered the good old days back to this city, which we are currently in.
Yeah, and that much better if they can get it done against the Florida Panthers. So the series starts tomorrow. Just in case somebody doesn't know.
Wait, what?
Like, I wonder if anybody heard me say that and was thinking, oh, yeah, it's tomorrow.
Now that,
maybe somebody on weird shifts, I don't know.
I'm really starting to appreciate what Jody Shelley said yesterday about, like, why is this so long?
Right.
Why is there such a break? Because, yeah, it's like, okay, well, no, today's only Tuesday. Gotta wait.
We're almost there.
Gotta wait till tomorrow.
We're almost there, yeah. And then we get 2 games in 3 days, which will be fun. So tomorrow, as always, the live stream starts at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. Dave Jameson in for Dustin this week. Dustin's off. And then we're with you until puck drop. The only modification to the schedule is that you and I, as we've been doing for the 6 o'clock games, you and I will go until 5. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show will take over at 5 with Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, Matt Cassie, and I'm sure they'll drum up some other guests. Tom will be live from the Canadian Ice House in Ice District Plaza tomorrow. So if you're going there, you can say hi to Tom or give him a little wave or blow him a kiss. I usually blow Tom a kiss when I walk in.
Oh, all the time.
Even though I'm going to be on air with him. And then they're on after the game as well. So that'll be the situation for both the Wednesday and Friday home games, which is going to be a lot of fun. Quick side note here, Jay, not that it's necessarily competition, but I've won.
Won what?
I have won the gentleman's sweep debate. If such, it's not even a debate. So there was the video clip of the Oilers on the bench. It was mostly Kane, was it not? Mic'd up after they beat Dallas, shaking hands and saying, gentlemen, gentlemen. And then I think he says, we're gentlemen at the end. So maybe they're acknowledging in a lighthearted manner that they've won a series in 5 games, which some people refer to as a gentleman's sweep, a term I despise.
You clearly.
I think it's lazy. I think it's undefined, all that kind of stuff. So yesterday, I don't know if it was Eric or Dustin, somebody posted that snippet from the video.
I saw this
of Kane saying that. Hey, and then some listeners were saying, "Oh, what's Reid? Why does Reid hate this term?" And so I wrote back to somebody. I said, because it's an undefined, poorly used term that's actually not that funny. So Dustin Nielsen, in his wisdom, wrote, it is defined. It's when a team loses the first game and then wins 4 in a row. So I wrote back, thank you for acknowledging you incorrectly celebrated a gentleman's sweep when the Oilers beat Vegas. Okay, so now Dustin is on the record as admitting that they should not have done that after the Vegas series.
It's a tough look for the old boss man.
Yeah, just saying.
And on holidays yet.
Yeah, so
Can't even defend himself.
So if that's his definition of a gentleman's sweep, okay, fine. I will grant him that. If he wants to say that's it, okay, that's it. But that's the only time you can do it. Winning team loses the first game, wins 4 in a row. Okay.
So you're recognizing that now because you've changed too.
Well, I'll recognize that if they want to say it's specifically that, I will allow them to do their own thing and celebrate it. I will not recognize that any 5-game series is a gentleman's sweep. I refuse to recognize that. And they were trying to sell that, but now Dustin has said, no. It's lose the first game, win 4 in a row. Okay, if that's the terms under which he and Eric and other people will celebrate a gentleman's sweep, I will let them do that and remain silent.
Fair enough.
If they celebrate something else as a gentleman's sweep that isn't that series format, you're going to hear from old Wilkie calling your BS. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just want consistency.
You know, there's something to be said, though, about bringing it up continually, a term that you do not agree with. So I think you're moving more towards that.
I don't think I am at all.
Well, you're acknowledging that you would accept that as a gentleman's sweep.
I'm acknowledging that I will let them accept that. I will not acknowledge that any 5-game series should be advertised as such. I still like the Leaf sweep. Win the first 2.
I like, yeah.
Win the first 2. Look like you might be able to pull off a sweep.
A real sweep.
A real sweep. Lose games 3 and 4 on the road. Lose game 5 at home. Shock the world with a game 6 win on the road. And look like you have the advantage again, and then come back home and lose badly on home ice. The Leaf sweep to me is way funnier to talk about.
I do like that. Mex has a good idea. He says we need an EST wiki for a place to define terms.
That's actually a good idea.
It's not bad.
That is a very good idea because there are a lot of. I remember I said this to you in the summer when we were talking about doing a show together, and I said, the shows tend to develop their own language, and certainly EST had, and a lot of it started with the guys at 1260, and I'm still learning some of the lingo,
sure,
or rejecting some of the lingo, I guess in some cases. But a wiki could be helpful because there are still things that I hear and I'm like, what are they talking about? Where did that come from?
We'd have to put supposedly in there.
Yeah, and we have our own now.
Sure.
Height, supposedly, irregardless. A lot of stuff. Bookbinder, origin.
Couldn't care less.
History, okay. Or could care less.
Or could care less.
Yeah.
There's good ones. We should start that.
We really should. All right.
Summer project, Coop.
You're going to hear from Chris Knobloch and from GM Stan Bowman as we move through the afternoon. Shawn Belle, our colleague here at EST from Hello Hockey, has been joining us every Tuesday at 4 o'clock during the playoffs. And how about this? Scheduled to join us at around 5:40 this afternoon, Chris Cuthbert. Going to be his second appearance on the show, but he is in Edmonton to call the Stanley Cup Final for Rogers, Sportsnet, CBC, whatever you want to call it. So that'll be fun to have Cuth on the show once again. We are happy to hear from you. You can text the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Crib Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. You can email reid@edmontonsportstalk.com, jay@edmontonsportstalk.com as well. Did we ever get to Jeff's yesterday? Jeff and YYZ? We would have missed his. We'll do it now. Wednesday game day, so no hockey live. Will the Oilers take it in Game 5? The team truly believes with their hearts on their sleeves. Did you see that Elks last-minute drive?
Very good.
That was Jeff's from yesterday. I think we might have forgot to read it.
Did we?
Maybe you read it.
Apologies, Jeff.
Anyway, we got it in there now. We often get limericks emailed to us. You can tune in to us. Go to edmontonsportstalk.com, by the way. That gives you a lot of options, and you can learn a little bit more about the station there. Maybe you got us on the TuneIn Radio app. Thank you. Maybe you got us on the iHeartRadio app. Thank you. Do not hesitate to share how you can listen to the station with other people, especially if they share a lot of your interests or listening habits or stuff like that. We're always looking to bring new people into the fold. You can also get us with a video element on YouTube.
The YouTube? Tube?
I like saying YouTube.
YouTube? What was the other one? Cool Whip?
Oh, yes. That's from Family Guy.
Family Guy, yeah.
All right. And you can subscribe to the station there. And if you are on YouTube, there's a chat there down the side. It is, we call it the Nasty Chat, so that's pretty fun. And if you are there, click that little thumbs up button under the video portion of the screen. Give us a like. Let's get up to 200 once again.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right. Don't hesitate. So we always try to, we used to try to get to 100. That's very achievable now.
Child's play now.
155 is double word of the day, and 200 is a playoff plateau. What would you like to see, Jay, today? What would you like to see?
Oh, a good solid 255.
255.
Double word of the day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not really.
Double word of the day plus 100. So, sorry.
Yeah, double word
200 and what? 55! Thanks, Sammy. We keep Sammy Hager in the back closet just to yell that out.
He drops off tequila every day. He's a big
That's
tequila
right.
guy.
He takes his own tequila.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he mixes it up himself.
I doubt that.
Sammy Hager is a big tequila guy. All right. So that's how you can get in touch. We always enjoy interacting with you, and we enjoy talking on sports with you, talking Edmonton sports, talking obviously the Stanley Cup Final, and having some other fun things along the way, such as our ongoing off-topic topic presented by William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536.
Look, the Oilers throughout this entire postseason haven't really been given the benefit of the doubt in any of the series that they've played in. From the experts,
right
around ESPN, TSN, you name it, they've usually not gotten the respect that they should be given. To be quite honest, I mean, they've proved time and time again that they're playing pretty good hockey.
Yeah.
So I thought, Reid, what is something that is continually given no respect that you would fight for and say, actually, it's pretty darn good? Now, this doesn't have to be sports teams specific. This can be anything in life. For instance, if you want to go on the big board or whatever you want to call it of fries, I think curly fries should be at the top. I think they get no respect. I'll stand by that till the day I die. I think water on the pyramid of drinks does not get enough respect. Water,
as a drink, not as something we need on planet Earth.
No. As a beverage. When you say, "Hey, what's your favorite drink?" Usually, people will say some sort of a soda or a bubbly or something like that. Water. I mean, water. It's simple. It doesn't get any respect. Professions.
That's amazing. You have curly fries and water as your two consumables.
Well, I'd throw Subway on the list too.
Somebody put Quiznos in the nasty chat already.
Sure. Subway. I mean, Subway is kind of scoffed at. I love Subway. Subway's a great sandwich. Quick, easy. You know what you're going to get. It's consistent. Reid. It's consistent.
Do you at least think it's disrespected though, or doesn't get enough respect?
I think so.
Okay.
What about electricians? I mean, they wire your whole house. If they did a poor job, your house would burn.
Yeah.
To the ground. A bad electrician does not last. Good electricians do not get the respect they deserve.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's a good one.
In my opinion.
That's a good one.
That is the off-topic topic today for William Huff. What? Jimbo says, PSA, water is not a beverage.
What is it then?
What is it?
You can
What do you
drink
mean?
it.
Well, it's a necessity, but it still is a beverage. It is more than that, though.
Like, I'm not getting
And
into
water
semantics
makes
here.
up everything you can drink. I mean, if you drink a beer, it's actually mostly water.
It's mostly water. I think water does classify as a beverage.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
So yeah, send them in. Send them in. Let's see here. Yeah, there's lots of slander towards my suggestions already. That's fine. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But yeah, like Quiznos. Quiznos is elite. They're hard to find. They're getting harder and harder to find, but Quiznos is an elite sandwich.
Would you say Subway or Quiznos is better?
I'm still I'm tilting that ice sheet to Subway. Reid?
Oh, I don't even eat enough of that.
I don't eat a
type
lot
of
of
food.
Subway either. Like, my kids love it. Like, and they got one in our Draisaitl.
Castor 1990 says Swiss Chalet. That's a good one.
That is a great
That's
one.
a good one. Because
But there are not as many around.
I hadn't been to Swiss Chalet for ages. And this was several years ago. I was visiting family in Kitchener, and they go to Swiss Chalet once a week. And I was like, really? Okay. And then it went. I was like, oh, yeah, this is actually pretty good. All right. I'm going to save mine for later because it'll take a little bit of explanation, and it's very nerdy and read-oriented.
Sure.
So I'll save mine for a little bit later. So something that is is continually given no respect is how you want to word this?
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
I mean, like teachers. Like, teachers should get the most respect out of, I think out of many professions. Like,
Right.
they should be near the top of the pyramid as far as professions go. I don't think they do. They are responsible for guiding our children
Right.
through their life, like through their early years, really.
Right. Well, because I think when you say that, and my dad was a teacher and a principal, I think when you say that, people think of a bad teacher. They don't think of the 90% they had that were good or great.
Right.
Right. All right, this is a good topic. I'm going to see what we can get going here. 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. So Belzy's coming up at 4 for our guest today. Chris Cuthbert at 5:40. We got audio from Media Day at Rogers Place, and the moment that I'm sure many of you have been waiting for. Your whole lives have been revolving around the next segment. Jay and I will give our guaranteed to be correct predictions for the Stanley Cup
100%.
Final. I guess Coop's going to make. Coop, did you make a pick on the last show? You should make a different pick on every show you're on, and then just reference the one that you were right on.
I should, yeah. that'd be
Coop will
nice.
do one as well, and we'll break down how Jay and I have done fairly well overall. I think for the postseason, we'll give our overall records. That's coming up.
One day out from Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, Connor McDavid will play tomorrow, while Connor Brown is a game-time decision due to illness. And Robbie Arventi also inked a one-year contract extension with the Oilers, signing a two-way deal. PWHL News sees the league announcing their protection list ahead of their expansion draft on the 9th. Sarah Nurse of the Scepters and Boston's Hillary Knight both left unprotected. Overseas in Russia, Sochi has named two-time Stanley Cup champion Slava Kozlov as their next head coach. Well, in the association, New York has relieved Tom Thibodeau of his head coaching duties with Thibodeau, spending the last 5 seasons as the head coach of the Knicks. Baseball action sees the Jays challenging the Phillies in their series opener just after 5 o'clock. Bowden Francis gets a start for Toronto. And staying with the Jays, 40-year-old Max Scherzer, who's been out of action since March 29th, is set to pitch in a simulated game on Sunday in the Florida Complex League. Meanwhile, the Riverhawks open their series at home against the Harbor Cats. Listen to the full game live on any of EST's audio streams with first pitch at 7:05. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. We have a brief intermission before the show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
We've seen how the Oilers are playing consistently. Everybody's jumping in. You know, if a new guy comes in the lineup, he sort of picks it up. If this series is a long one, are we going to notice the absence of Zach Hyman?
I think so. You will start recognizing that Zach Hyman, you're going to be telling yourself, gosh, it'd be nice to have Hyman in the lineup right now.
Mm-hmm. It's 10 less hits a game. The longer the series goes on, the more you feel
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Friday's just got a whole lot more fun. Spin the wheel at the banquet for your shot to win big and save on your bill. Spin, win, save. It's that easy. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Time out, Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place, anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Who was playing this? Your buddy?
Devin, the guitarist.
Yeah? Was he also the chief songwriter?
No, that was Rob, the bassist.
This is Rob, okay. And this is North Shore.
Yeah.
North Shore was better, would you say, than Brody?
Better produced. Better production.
More mature.
Yeah.
Or mature.
Mature. Yes. Not so amateur.
Yeah, were you amateur or professional?
We went pro.
Thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon along with Jason Milne. I am Reid Wilkins. We are in the Banquet Studio. Don't forget about Spin to Win Fridays at the Banquet. Spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. Details at thebanquetbar.com. Before we get into our Stanley Cup Final predictions and update how we've done so far, we have some off-topic submissions for William Huff. What is something that is continually given either no respect or not enough respect?
Dr. John says research scientists, such as myself, don't get much respect. People who Googled something for 5 minutes think they know more than them. In reality, without science, they wouldn't even have Google, phones, clothes, etc.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point, actually.
That's a good point.
What kind of research does he do? I would like to know that.
I don't know. Bones says, off topic, the Heinz 57, the mongrel. The mixed breed is incredibly overlooked now with all these doodles and purebreds. Give me a mutt.
That's good. I don't know. I think mutts are still well appreciated. Maybe I'm just a dog guy. I like dogs.
My buddy Sickler, who often listens and chimes in.
Good guy.
He said blue cheese dip as opposed to ranch dip.
Yeah, I would go with that.
That's a good one.
Blue
That's
cheese
strong.
dip can be quite good if you're in the mood.
Yes, and not the heavy, strong blue cheese, just a mild blue cheese with chicken wings.
Because I feel as if a lot of people hear blue cheese and think, oh, no, I don't want to eat socks. Well, no, it's actually pretty good.
It's not bad. It fits in. His daughter has a recommendation as well. Brady has chimed in her vote for no respect. Little Caesars Crazy Bread.
No, it's been ages since I've had that.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
My kid's school does a Little Caesars pizza kit fundraiser.
Oh, neat.
And we get the Crazy Bread all the time. It is, in my house, not underrated. It is magical.
Sweet. All right.
Oh, and Bronco Nick had a good one. Mutters and tapers. You know, for drywall.
Yes.
That is an art. That is a very good no respect profession.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
But I think they do get respect. They're just not talked about a lot. Like a good mutter and taper is like the king of the job site.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good ones.
Very good.
Keep them coming in. 780-218-9999. River Crew
I'm
Resort
excited
Casino inbox.
to hear yours, Reid.
You can post in the nasty chat as well later. I don't want to derail the show quite yet, like I did early on by putting my hood on yesterday. Remember to give us the thumbs up if you are on YouTube. Share the show with other people. So hit share, text the link, email the link to other people. Encourage them to check it out. Give us a thumbs up there as well, as we're building quickly towards 100. Should be there pretty soon. But again, do not delay. Get in there and click, click, click away. Should I do the song again?
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right. So as all, I mean, if you host a talk show, you're pretty much obligated to give your picks for whatever region you're in. So here you got to give your picks for the playoffs. So here's the update. In the conference finals, I went 2-0. I took Florida in 4. I took Edmonton in 6. Jay went 1-1. He took Carolina in 7, and he took Edmonton in 5. So he got another one exactly right. I think you have had now, I think 4 or 5 series exactly right. I think I've only had a couple. So for the playoffs, I am now 9-5, and Jay is now 10-4. So if we were to disagree in the Cup final, and I was to win, basically Jay has already clinched the pool because the tiebreaker is who had many more.
Oh, right.
So you have done very well as a rookie selector.
Thank you.
A rookie predictor. First time ever you've gone public with your picks. And I should remind everybody, you would have been 8-0 in the first round.
Yes.
Because you believed Carolina was going to beat New Jersey, but you took New Jersey because you took them to win the Eastern Conference at the start of the year.
It was a gentleman's move.
So you did. You were like, hey, I got to be consistent with myself.
That's a gentleman's move.
That was a gentleman's move.
Yeah.
You're very gentlemanly. So I'm 9-5. Jay's 10-4. So not bad. But Jay has indeed clinched first place in our very.
Do you think we're going to disagree?
Mini informal competition
on our finals picks.
I think I kind of know where you're going based on your Jay's play of the day for Play Alberta from the other day.
Yeah, true.
So I think we might disagree on the number of games. Do you want me to go first?
Well, no, I'll go first because I've put it out there.
Because you've kind of put it out there.
I put it out there earlier. It was Jay's play of the day. What was it, Friday, I believe? The Oilers in 6. That is my prediction. I don't know how.
I thought you were saying 5.
No. Oilers in 6.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't go the gentleman's way. I had Oilers
well, then
in
we're
6.
picking the same thing then.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Now, this is the why. I just think that this team gets it. This team is the having that experience last year has definitely helped this team through this playoffs. I mean, we heard a comment from Leon Draisaitl yesterday saying how they didn't get too emotional with the series victories that they've had, albeit they didn't have to face another Canadian team, and maybe there's something to that. Home ice advantage, Reid. I mean, the Oilers are 6-1 this playoffs at home, this postseason. I get it. Florida is also very good on the road. But this is not Scotiabank Place in Toronto or in Carolina where you're on the road. This is a different animal here in Edmonton that they have not heard yet. I guarantee you they have not heard the noise that they're about to hear tomorrow night.
Even compared to the last year? Think it'll be crazy?
Well, yeah, true enough. But that kind of takes that, well, they're very good and effective on the road. That, I don't know. I think that lessens the effect of that stat. And honestly, a healthy Evander Kane, Reid. He's the guy that I'm picking as my player to watch, or a player that could come out and make the difference. You know, it's happened throughout all the series. Different players have stepped up. And I think Evander Kane gets a shot at redemption. A healthy Evander Kane can now do what Evander Kane should be doing or wanted to do last year, just wasn't physically able.
Okay. So you're going Edmonton in 6, and then we said we would take a difference maker, but not like a out-and-out top-line player.
Yeah, not McDavid.
Not McDavid, Draisaitl, Kachuk, Barkov, I guess those types of players. So Jay's going Edmonton in 6. By the way, we also want your predictions, and we're going to go with the same rule that we have for predictions because it's easy to just type in Edmonton in 6.
Yeah.
Give us a reason why if you can, and then give us if you want to give us something humorous or an off-the-wall prediction about the series or like an unusual thing that'll happen in the series, include that as well. Right, so you can be outright something fictional or maybe something that is unlikely to happen, but you're going to say, "Hey, Reid, I'm predicting whatever. A wolf runs on the ice in Game 4. An actual rat delays one of the games in Sunrise. Something like that."
Awesome.
All right, I'm going to go. I'm also going to take Edmonton in 6. I'm sticking with my personal policy here that if the home team, the team we cover and talk about, has made it this far, why not pick them? Why not put optimism out into the world? The Oilers are in the Stanley Cup Final. They're sure as shooting good enough to win it. I think that Florida is an excellent team. I think these teams are very similar. I think they are going to bash each other's brains in at some point in this series. I think it's going to be very physical, probably very tight checking at times. I think the Oilers, maybe the loss from last year just has them a little bit hungrier. I think McDavid and Draisaitl are as focused as ever.
Focused.
Hyman's out, but I do think the Oilers probably don't have maybe as many guys playing banged up like last. Like clearly Draisaitl was not himself in the Cup Final. Nurse was playing with a bit of injury as well. I do think I know home ice isn't huge, but I don't mind the Oilers starting at home and maybe getting something rolling on home ice. But I do think the Panthers are very good. Bobrovsky's an excellent goaltender. So he might be worth a win on his own, and I think we saw that last year. But I just think the Oilers are committed and are just in figure-it-out mode. And I think they have a better D than last season. And I'm going to go for my difference makers. I'm going to go with the quote-unquote third pairing of Walman and Klingberg. That, there's not going to be any D pairing on the ice that really makes you feel like, oh, that's a big drop-off for Edmonton. And I know Broberg played well last year. Ceci was taken out for a game. Vinny went in. And I'll even go so far to predict that either Walman or Klingberg scores a big goal in this series. Gets some offense from the back end. I like it. Gets something from the back end. But I do think it's going to be tough. I do think it's going to be nerve-wracking. I do think that at least once during this series, we're going to be having an EST day on this show dealing with a lot of angst from fans saying like, oh my God, clearly we're not good enough. Clearly Florida's better. What a devastating loss. But I think, and you said it, I think the Oilers are experienced. I think they're steady emotionally, and I think this is the year they get it done. But unfortunately, wherever, it'd be cool if they won it at home, but it'd be cool if they won it at all. So I'm going to go Oilers in 6. Why not?
I like it, Reid. I mean, it's just, you're seeing this team play. We've seen them play all year long. They're playing a different brand of hockey. You've been around the team in the locker room, post-game, every game, you're seeing a different level of calmness. I mean, you cannot, and that's not saying that Florida, they're just going to run over Florida.
Well, I think it's going to be an outstanding
This is going to be
series.
a knock them out, drag them into the back alley style of play.
Yeah.
And to me, like, if you're looking at a difference maker for Florida, I mean, you look at that third line, Anton Lundell centering Brad Marchand and Lusterinen. They lead their team 5-on-5. None of those players 5-on-5 are less than plus 11. They are dominating.
Yeah.
So if the Oilers can neutralize that line, that's a major pickup. Because, I mean, the Barkovs, the Kachucks of the world are plus 4 or 5. This line is causing problems for opposing
Well, if I
teams.
picked a player, it'd be that Luosterainen. He's good. So
they're skilled. Like, don't muddy this and think that, we're overconfident. We're just, at least for me anyways, I won't put your words in your mouth. I'm just seeing a trend from this team that the little small setbacks don't derail them.
Right.
They're just, okay, steady, stay the course, run the race, finish the job. And that's something that's hard to overcome for any opposition.
Yeah. Now, Florida has that mentality too, and this is their third year in a row in the final. The Oilers are second year in a row. I think it's going to be a great series. I mean, I just think there's a lot of compelling storylines. McDavid and Draisaitl trying to get the cup. A Canadian team trying to win the cup. I don't think the Oilers are thinking about that, but it's part of the conversation around the series as well. But again, to me, it's that just the physicality and the raw meat that we're going to see through. If that's a way to put it. I mean, I think this is going to showcase everything that hockey can display. Like, there will be some high level skill, and then I think there is just going to be some grinding and banging, and I think it's going to be beautiful to watch. Coop. Now, Coop took Florida in 6 and Dallas in 6 in the last round.
That I did. And I was doubting the Oilers. I don't think there's any reason that I should be doubting them once again. You look at either team, though, they are so close in the matchup. They're both physical. They're both highly skilled, and they both have depth up and down the lineup. I think that Connor McDavid's will for a Stanley Cup will put the Oilers over the edge. Panthers might have better goaltending on paper, though Stuart Skinner has showed up in the last couple of series and has proven that he can actually stop the puck when needed, helping the Oilers win in that Stars series in round 3. So I think the Stars will show up for the Oilers and they'll push them over the edge to claim victory of the Stanley Cup.
How many games?
In 7.
Edmonton in 7. All right. Bob in the Nasty Chat says the third line will eat Stu alive. Them and their special teams will win this. He's taking Florida in 6. I saw somebody picking the Oilers in Game 7 overtime. My God, I think people would be losing their minds. Soggy Corpse says, remember how close the last 2 series were supposed to be? Remember how the Kings were supposed to drown out the Oilers? Yeah, I mean, here's a question for you, Jay. Have the Oilers had a tougher path to the Stanley Cup Final than the Florida Panthers?
Have the Oilers had an easier path? Or tougher, you said?
Easier or tougher? Or who's had it tougher, I guess?
I mean, I'd have... Well, I mean, you look at Florida knocking off Tampa Bay in round 1. That's not an easy task.
So Tampa Bay was 8th overall. Florida was 11th. Then they played the 4th overall Toronto Maple Leafs, and then they played the 10th overall Carolina Hurricanes. So they have played 4th, 8th, and 10th. The Oilers have played 6th, 3rd, and 5th.
Well, there you go. It speaks for itself.
Right.
And I was going to say that Carolina series in the conference finals probably was not the best thing in terms of setting them up for a finals, Stanley Cup final series against a much more physical, fully put together Oilers team. So yeah, I mean, that when you say it like that, Reid, it's pretty clear as day that the Oilers have had a much tougher.
I think you could make that argument that the Oilers have had a tougher path and had more convincing victories along the way.
Well, and yeah, I mean, they won.
Maybe.
Look what they did to those teams. They stole their souls. Dallas was not the team that they were. especially in the first 2 rounds. Rantanen was taken away. And that's so when you say it like that, yeah, I mean, that it's pretty clear to see that they have had and dismantled them.
Yeah.
They didn't just win it. They won in quite convincing fashion.
I'm going to put this out here.
Do it.
And I know people will be annoyed. If this happens to be a shorter series, it'll be the Oilers winning. I don't think it's going to be a short series, but if it happens to be a shorter series, then I think it's the Oilers who take control of it.
Okay, I'll double down on your if it's going to be a shorter series take. And I'm going to say if it's going to be a shorter series, I feel that there's a higher likelihood of Stuart Skinner winning the Conn Smythe.
Oh, he won't win the Conn Smythe.
That's what you said earlier. If it's a short series,
they won't give it to a goalie with 10 wins when McDavid is going to have all the points that he already has.
If they win in 5 and he has 2 shutouts in this series, he's winning the Conn Smythe.
Maybe if he gets to 5 or 6 shutouts, maybe. But I still think McDavid's point total is too far to ignore. I actually think if Nuge has a big series, he could win the Conn Smythe. How about that?
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be amazing. All right, 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Jay's play of the day coming up. Shawn Belle at the top of the hour. Chris Cuthbert in about 2 hours as well. Here comes the Coop.
Connor McDavid returned to practice today, being ready for Game 1 tomorrow, while Connor Brown is a game-time decision due to illness. And Roby Järventie also signed a 1-year contract extension with the Oilers on a 2-way deal. Overseas in Russia, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, former Red Wing Slava Kozlov has been named the head coach of Sochi in the KHL. And after losing in the East Final to the Pacers in 6 games, the Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau after he spent the last 5 years behind the Knicks bench. And for the Blue Jays, their series opener goes tonight against the Phillies. Bowden Francis gets the ball for the Jays, while Christopher Sanchez takes him out for the Phillies. Staying in Toronto, right-hander Max Scherzer continues to recover from a thumb injury that's kept him out since the end of March. He'll pitch in a simulated game on Sunday. Additionally, 2 players are returning to the Jays, infielder Andres Jimenez and Tyler Heineman, coming off the injured list. Back in Edmonton, the Riverhawks play the Harbor Cats. EST's got full coverage of the game on any of our audio streams. First pitch goes just after 7. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their West End showroom is open 7 days a week. You can also shop online at ParamountFlooring.ca. Jay's play of the day for Play Alberta brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit GalloLLP.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
She bought a car, working nights at the mall. TV taught her how to drive it.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. So the picks for the Cup Final. Coop's taking Oilers in 7. Jay and I are taking the Oilers in 6. So far in the playoffs, I have had 9 series correct, 5 incorrect. Jay, 10 correct, 4 incorrect. So if the Oilers win, we'll both be, you're already at guaranteed 2/3. We'll both be 2/3 or higher, which isn't bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad for making picks in a crazy sport like hockey. 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. That's how you can text us. Thanks if you're tuning in through one of the audio streams. If you are on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. We are 20 away from 100, so let's get to that 100 in the first hour. Don't delay, get in there and click, and then we'll keep building from there. And we're also taking your predictions. Who's going to win, how many games, and then you can give hopefully something maybe a little funny or off the wall, some other prediction about the series.
Oh, there is. Jason in Leduc writes, I predict that there will be death and bloodshed in this series in Florida. I'm sure that Wallman or Ekholm will flip a puck out of their zone high in the air and will strike a pigeon that is camped in the rafters. Said pigeon will sadly fall to its demise on the ice, and that sort of hockey will never be the same again.
That's a good one.
Nature Boy, Edmonton in 6. I think Evander owns Matthew Tkachuk, and he's going to have flashbacks to the Calgary series a few years ago, which caused him to move as far away from Kane as possible. Plus, Edmonton has the 2 best players in the series, and even though the Panthers are very good, there's something different this year as compared to last year.
Okay.
Andrew the accountant says, now it's not. I don't know why, but I feel the Oilers in 5, but 3 games go to overtime, and Paul Coffey picks up Maurice by the scruff and drags him to the handshake line.
That's a good one. That's a very good prediction. That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
So what, didn't Brindamore say today or yesterday that he wanted to shake the hands of the former players? So that's why he wanted to go on the handshake line. So I was on, and when I did 2 guys and a goalie today with Gager and Cass, and somebody wrote in the nasty chat because I asked those 2 guys, what did you think about during the anthem? And they gave really interesting answers.
Yeah, I heard that.
And then somebody put in the nasty chat, said maybe we should ask Paul Maurice what we should do during the anthem. He's determining the etiquette for after the game. Maybe he should determine the etiquette for before the game as well.
Just an unnecessary comment by him and an unnecessary request to Rod Brindamore. Say, I don't think you should.
Well, it was
do
a
that.
weird time to do it, like we talked about. It was kind of strange. All right, Shawn Belle coming up at the top of the hour. Chris Cuthbert scheduled to join us around 5:40. We still have clips coming up from Oilers GM Stan Bowman. He had some interesting comments today as well. Chris Knobloch. Connor Brown didn't skate today, so I guess he's under the weather. Now a game time decision for tomorrow, so maybe a bit of a setback for him as he was trying to come back from injury. It's time for Jay's Play of the Day.
It's Jay, it's play, he's Jay, it's today. It's Jay's Play of the Day. It's Jay's Play of the Day. Jay's Play of the Day.
Thank goodness we got that new piano.
Yeah. I think he is Australian. Coop suggested that yesterday.
Jay's Play of the Day presented by Play Alberta. You can skip the flight to Vegas because jackpots are just a tap away. Experience all the thrills of the casino right from your phone with Play Alberta. Download the app today and deposit $20 using the EST exclusive promo code EST Casino for a $50 casino bonus.
Okay, tonight we're going to the WNBA. That's the WNBA. WNBA. There's a Western Conference showdown. The 2 top teams in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Lynx, are 7-0, taking on the 5-2 Phoenix Mercury. The Lynx have scored over 80 points in 5 of their 7 games thus far, but the Mercury have held teams below 80 in 4 of their 5 games. The Mercury also have the number 1 defense in the league. They're 5-2. The Mercury are of Phoenix, and both the games they've lost have been by 7 and by 3. Phoenix Mercury plus 12. So the Phoenix Mercury can lose by 11 points or 12, and you can push. But I think this is going to be a much tighter game. That's at minus 125. So if you head over to playalberta.ca, click on the EST specials, you will see a list of special bets. The early bird bet, Dusty's play of the day, and you'll see Jay's play of the day. That is a Phoenix Mercury plus 12 at minus 125. That is Jay's play of the day. And don't forget, the new promo codes are out for the month of June, so deposit $20 or more to get a $50 free sports bet using promo code EST Sports. This is for new and existing players. If you got your promo codes from May, go and jump on this and get a $50 free bet, courtesy of the fine folks over at Play Alberta. And don't forget to always use your game sense.
All right, great stuff. Well, you've done pretty well with these plays of the day so far.
We're tracking in the right way.
You're doing all right?
I really like this one. I think the 12-point spread is far too much. Mind you, it's minus 125. So, you're not going to make as much, but I just feel that is probably 5-6 points too high. So Phoenix Mercury plus 12.
All right. Our off-topic topic for William Huff was what is something or someone that is continually given no respect or not as much respect as they might deserve. You know what mine is?
Oh, tell.
The writers of comic book stories.
Okay.
So here's my quick little story. I've gone to the fan convention the last couple of years, and at both conventions, I have walked up to and met the current writer of the Amazing Spider-Man series. This last September, or a writer for Spider-Man. This last September, it was a guy named Dan Slott, who I believe has the longest run ever on Amazing Spider-Man. He's not writing it now, but he's still a comic writer. The previous year, it was a guy named Zeb Wells. Now, when you go to the fan convention, there's all the booths and stuff and people you can meet. And then there are people from television shows like Jonathan Frakes, who plays Commander Riker on Star Trek, was there last year. And you have to pay. I've told the story how it's like $100 for a photo and $50 for an autograph. And you walk up and get to and I've never done this, but you can just walk up to like the writer of a very popular comic book and a character that I love and just talk to them. And just talk to them like for nothing. And like they might sign a comic book for you and it's $10. As opposed to like 150 to like say hi to Jonathan Frakes, who I think is a talented actor and he's a director as well. So that is a group of people who I think are disrespected, and a good comic book writing is really, really good.
How many writers have there been during the time of the Spider-Man?
Probably hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yes. On Amazing Spider-Man specifically, probably that's kind of the flagship title, probably dozens.
So can you tell differences from one group of writers to the next? Like if you were to pick up early episodes of the Amazing Spider-Man, would you see a difference in writing style?
Oh, God, yes.
But is it just with the times?
Yes. Like Stan Lee wrote the original Amazing Spider-Man comics.
Of course.
Yeah. And if you read them now, they're not very good. But it established the character.
Oh, yeah. So you would meet him. Did you tell that to that writer's face last year? That you think that they're not very good?
The old stuff?
No, the new stuff.
No, the new stuff is better than the old stuff. Yeah, because you can read digital stuff and reprints online, and it's like, well, it's neat to read the original stories of Spider-Man, but it wasn't like it is now. Some of them are good, but they're not all as good. I met Stan Lee when I was probably a teenager. He was at a convention in Edmonton. That was pretty cool.
Did you have to pay to get his autograph?
I don't think so. No. So anyway, that's my little aside on that. Mech says, preach like Frank Miller and Jonathan Hickman. Yeah, Frank Miller did some very well-known Daredevil and I think Batman stuff, right? So there you go. Comic book writers. The current guy who's writing Fantastic Four is a guy named Ryan North. He's Canadian, very good writer.
Matthew Tkachuk in the nasty chat says Angel Reese gets no respect. Well, Matthew.
Glad Matthew, as soon as he gets to Edmonton, he's right in the nasty chat. That's amazing. All right. 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Bellsy coming up after the 4 o'clock break.
The Lock Shop.
Matt Tkachuk, and I'll throw Brad Marchand in this one. They seem to be those players where, I think Matt Tkachuk goes into this series to a degree not wanting to win the Stanley Cup, but to make sure Connor and Leon and the Oilers and the city of Edmonton don't win the Stanley Cup. That's if the Panthers are winning the Cup, he's going to have more joy out of the fact that there's misery on the other side than the joy of him having won it.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
If you aren't wearing a Connect belt, what are you waiting for? A one-size-fits-all belt with a smooth, hole-free track system makes it adjustable for the perfect fit. With fully customizable options, you can choose your belt color, material, and buckle to suit your style. 100% Canadian-owned and operated, Connect belts are designed for work, everyday wear, and even a round of golf. Check out the large selection of men's and women's styles at www.knktbelts.com. Connect belts, the perfect fit every time.
Experience the iconic music of Dire Straits with DSL, Dire Straits Legacy, June 12th in the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Featuring original members and musicians who recorded, performed, and toured the globe with Dire Straits. Alan Clark, Dire Straits' first keyboardist, plus Phil Palmer, Danny Cummings, and Mel Collins. This incredible show includes all the hits, Money for Nothing, Sultans of Swing, Walk of Life, and more. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Edmonton's Connor McDavid returned to practice today and is good to go for Game 1 tomorrow. While Connor Brown did not hit the ice and has been listed as a game-time decision due to illness. Plus, the Oilers have signed 22-year-old forward Roby Järventie to a one-year, two-way contract extension. NBA News has New York firing Tom Thibodeau after 5 seasons with the Knicks. The Knicks failing to get past the Pacers, falling in 6 games during the East Final last week. MLB action sees Toronto hosting Philly for their series opener. First pitch goes just after 5. Bowden Francis starts for Toronto. In other news, Max Scherzer will pitch in a simulated game on Sunday. He's been away from Toronto since the end of March with a thumb injury sting. In Toronto, Anthony Santander's rehab has been pushed back after he had injections in his shoulder, while Andre Jimenez and Tyler Heineman have been taken off the injured list. From Remax Field in Edmonton, the Riverhawks scrap with the Harbor Cats just after 7. Catch the full game right here on any of EST's audio streams. First pitch at 7:05. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. 4 minutes after 3, you're going to hear some comments from Oilers GM Stan Bowman, head coach Chris Knobloch. As we move through the afternoon, Chris Cuthbert scheduled to join us at about 5:40. We've done our predictions for the Stanley Cup Final. Yours are coming in as well on the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999. That is presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday, and that is from 4 to 10 p.m. He's been joining us every Tuesday at 4 o'clock throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. You get him on Hello Hockey every Saturday at 10 a.m. with Tom Gazzola here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Shawn Belle checking in. Bellsy, how's it going, buddy?
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Do it very well.
Hey, Belzy, I just wanted to check in. Our off-topic topic for William Huff today was what is something that is continually given no respect. So just for an example, I put curly fries in that category because I think they don't get their due respect. What say you, Belzy?
Well, I mean, you could take this so many different ways, but let's start with, along the same avenues that you were. Curly fries don't get enough respect, but you know what really doesn't get a lot of respect is onion rings.
Ooh.
Onion rings are delicious. A&W makes actually an unbelievable one, and most people would just, opt for fries. I don't understand. Give a little onion ring love. Like, that's number one. Number two, flats with wings. Most people are like drum guys. They disrespect the flats, even though the flats are the best part of the wing. And then number three, which is actually a job, sewage workers. Nobody gets love as a sewage worker. Let's be honest.
Oh, those
they
are great.
shovel blank for life, and nobody talks about it.
I did not think you'd be going there. That's a very astute pick. Yeah.
If I go to A&W, like you got to get the onion rings. You just got to.
You have to, but a lot of people opt for fries.
Wow.
Well, there we go. Those are some good suggestions from Shawn Belle.
And I'm not biased towards the flat or the drum. I am equal.
Yeah, they're both good.
They're good.
To me, they're both good. So, yeah, I don't have a preference there as well.
My kids prefer the drum. I think they find it easier to eat.
Maybe it's easier, but I don't think the flats are that hard to eat either.
They're not. They're actually quite easier if you have the
But
proper technique.
Pull the meat off and then just
if
pick
you have
away
the
whatever's
proper
left.
technique, like Jay just said,
Yeah.
you can get way more meat off quickly. But honestly, they're so disrespected. It's crazy.
Yeah. Was that Dusty that left like half the wing uneaten? Like he didn't even realize that he was
watching him
that upset
eat
a lot of
wings
people.
is just it's not. I wouldn't recommend it because it just makes you sick to see how much food is left on his plate after he's supposedly finished a plate of wings. I can't take it anymore.
there he is. There he is checking it. All right, Belzy, it finally starts tomorrow. The Stanley Cup Final. And we saw what the Oilers did. I mean, a couple of days off, practice Sunday, had a practice scheduled for Monday, did not skate. Practice today, then with all the media stuff. I assume it'll be a very optional morning skate tomorrow. Like if you were a coach, is that how you would space it out? Or if you were a player, that's how you would like it spaced out? What do you think?
To be honest with you, I'm probably the worst person to ask this question because I played for Guy Boucher, and Guy was like a psych major, and he would always challenge us on routine. And a lot of times hockey players are like creatures of habit. And he would just go out of his way to sit back and be like, well, did you forget how to skate? Did you forget how to pass? And we'd be like, no. And he's like, well, exactly. We're not going to practice. And you'd be like, okay, well, I just want to give you puck touches. So the way that they've kind of spaced it out, I think is conducive to making sure that they have the most healthy lineup possible. They've got Brown has been injured. He's been banged up. He's been out of the lineup. Can you get him back if you get a couple more days of rest? Draisaitl, has he been hurt? They just having rest at this time of the year to me is a little bit more. It's a better thing than trying to go out and try to practice for an hour. Rest is a weapon, and sometimes we forget about that. So I think the way that they structured it is going to be best for the Edmonton Oilers and to make sure that they're ready to go tomorrow.
Okay, so Boucher would like almost mock guys who wanted to get out there and just get in some ice time?
He would challenge us all the time. So like there'd be games where like, on a Sunday we'd fly home from Winnipeg. A Monday would be a day off. Tuesday we'd play. And most guys would be like, well, we want to skate Monday. And you'd be like, nope. Do you forget how to skate? Well, no, Guy, we don't forget how to skate. Like, we're actually pretty good at it. Do you forget how to pass? No. Okay, well, then I'll see you on Tuesday for the game. He wouldn't even do an optional skate. And you're sitting there being like, yeah. And he'd be like, well, what are we talking about? And he'd be like, gentlemen, it's up here. It's all that matters. Hockey's 80% mental. And then we'd go out and we'd kick the doors off of somebody. So we were like, oh yeah, I guess we were right.
Wow, that's fascinating. Did you ever feel though, like enough's enough, coach? You're just playing with us. You're just doing this to prove you have the power in this situation. Was he like that?
Well, like I think what he did was he tried to challenge you. He tried to challenge your routine, and he tried to say like, "Hey, adversity creates the best situations because you never fall into it. Like if there's a little bit of adversity, you don't fall off a cliff." And a lot of guys, when they sit back into the routines, and they're so accustomed to their routines that if something deviates a little bit, they're not the same. And he'd just be like, no, we're going to challenge that at every single turn so that anytime there's that adversity, you're perfectly fine with it. So we're going to roll. And we were second in the league that year with 54 wins. So, he was kind of right.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Belzy, I want you to answer a question or fill in the blank, so to speak. If the Oilers go on to win the Stanley Cup, what or who do you think will be the biggest factor in making this happen?
I want to give you something outside the box, but the reality is it's going to be Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the league. He is a difference maker every single time he steps foot on the ice, and he has been nothing but a man on a mission since the day that the playoffs started. You look at after they won the Western Conference Finals, like he wasn't happy. He's got something on his mind, and I don't think there's anything that's going to stop him from achieving that goal. And I think you're going to see a guy that's going to elevate to a level that we haven't seen. Like I just personally think that he's had one thing on his mind since the start of the season, and there's not a thing in this world that's going to stop him from doing it.
Shawn Belle joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Shawn, the co-host of Hello Hockey, which airs right here on EST Saturday mornings. 29 players returning from last year's Stanley Cup Final. Do you think this will lead to the series starting with more of a bang and a rapid pace, or does the familiarity with the opponents bring out more of a careful, attentive style of play?
I'm going to come out with a bang. I don't think the Oilers are going to sit back. I think they're at home. I think the fans are electric. I personally think it's been louder this year than it has in past years. And I think it's almost impossible to skate or walk through that tunnel, get onto the ice, and not be 100% ready to go, given the fact that the Oiler fans are going ballistic at this time of the year. So I think the Oilers are going to come out of the gates hot. I think that the Florida Panthers are going to sit there and say, we better not let our foot off the gas, because if we do, we might lose 2 in Edmonton. That's how loud this place is. And so I think that it's going to come out there. Both teams are going to be swinging, and I am excited for it because it's going to be such fun hockey.
You know what has crossed my mind, Belzy? Are we going to have a fight in the first 3 seconds like we did in the Four Nations face-off?
I don't think you're going to see that at all. No.
What if Matthew Tkachuk lines up across from Trent Frederick? And if one guy brings it up, the other guy can't say no, can he?
No, there's no chance he would do that. I'm sorry, but you look at Tkachuk, and this is no disrespect to Tkachuk. And I think he plays his role so well. He's a rat. He imposes his will on the game. He's very skilled. But do you honestly think he's going to go after Frederick and be like, hey, Frederick, let's go? No, he's not going to do that.
He can't risk getting injured in it, right?
100%. Yeah. What he'd try to do is he'd try to pick his spots and go after Connor McDavid when, he's in a vulnerable position, or Leon Draisaitl in a vulnerable position, or Nugent Hopkins. That's what he wants to pick off. He's not interested in going after Kane. He's not interested in going after Frederick. He's not interested in going after Nurse. Guys that have that pugilistic side, not his jam.
That's an interesting way to put it. All right. So from an Oilers perspective, what is your biggest concern in this series?
The PK. The PK terrifies me a little bit. The Florida Panthers, they're really good on the power play. They've been good, all throughout the playoffs. Outside of obviously a few games with that PK, for the most part, you could sit back and be like, okay, well, the Oilers have been pretty good on PK, but the reality is they're still 66%.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, you have to be concerned. It is a cause for concern because that is not a very good percentage. And most teams, when you look at a combination between the power play and the PK, they're looking at 110%. And you're saying, well, my specialty teams is going to be elite at 110%. Well, I'm pretty sure the power play is not clipping at 40. So you can't even put that in the conversation. So the PK, it needs to be better, and it needs to, be clipping along. And this sounds crazy, but it's got to be like 70%, 75% or higher. And I think you have yourself a legitimate chance when it comes to, the special teams play.
Yeah. Or just try to stay out of the box, which, I guess they did okay. They didn't take a ton of penalties against Dallas, except for that run of penalties that ultimately cost them game one. All right. Look, Jay brought up a great point. The Florida third line, if they have Lundell, LaRoche-Storinen, and Marchand, is that a potential, kind of from the other, is that a potential difference maker for Florida? Is that their third line could perform potentially like a top six line if they're really going?
Well, the reality is it is a top six line. They're good, and you can't dismiss the depth that the Florida Panthers have. But if you look at the Edmonton Oilers, like the depth in their third line is pretty good as well. You had Connor Brown in that spot. Now it's Victor Arvidsson, and Victor Arvidsson is a guy across the league where you're probably expecting him to be a top 9 forward. And so you have the ability to kind of match that. Now, Marchand is obviously, he's a top 6 forward in any team across the league. And they give you elements that not every single team has. They've got a little sandpaper. They've got skill. They obviously have the defensive prowess, but at the same time, you can't discount what the Oilers have on their third line. So is it a game changer? Yeah, sure, maybe. But I like what the Oilers can bring to match that. And so I'm not going to sit back and say, hey, that's going to be the difference in the series.
All right. Bellsy, it's going to be a blast. I think this could be an absolutely classic Stanley Cup final. You're on the Hangout tomorrow?
I'm on the Hangout tomorrow.
And then you'll have Hello Hockey with Tom 10 a.m. Saturday. So the morning after Game 2, you'll have that to talk about, which will be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for doing this, buddy. We'll talk to you next Tuesday at 4.
See you, gents.
Right on. Shawn Belle checking in, former NHL defenseman and our colleague here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Yeah, I mean, and this is it's so fascinating to talk about because, and I've seen some of the chat in the Nazi chat. Some people are like, well, this team has this. Well, don't forget, I think this will be a bigger deal. I don't know. It's hard for me to say one roster is better than the other. I mean, it's going to come down to execution, momentum, big saves, big plays. What are we talking about? Late game execution. Maybe there's an overtime. If a game goes to overtime, most nights it's a pick 'em.
Sure.
Unless there's a goalie standing on his head to get it in overtime. And then it just comes down to who makes the play. I think you make a great point about that line for Florida, but Bellsy makes a great point about, well, really, the Oilers' bottom 6. Henrique scored some big goals.
Yep.
Kane's been in the bottom 6 and has made some great plays. If Janmark Arvidsson and Pod Colson are together, they've had some good games and come up with some goals. If Jeff Skinner winds up playing, in a bottom 6 role, he scored the last game he played. So, I mean, you can go back and forth about who necessarily has the advantage in this series. To me, it's clearly not obvious, and that's what makes it so fun to watch.
But it is a good point to bring up, and Joaquin brought it up on ESD Afternoons today about his prediction. He predicted Florida in 7.
Right.
All right. I appreciate that. I that's what he feels. But he did say, I may change my mind after I see Game 1 tomorrow.
Right.
And what version of the Oilers, and more importantly, I think for him or for Oilers fans as well, is what version of the Panthers show up tomorrow night.
Right.
And we've been hearing this. We've been beaten into our heads depth depth on both teams. And like I've said, a lot of the experts and pundits are expressing that they believe that the Florida Panthers have more depth than the Oilers. Well, that's going to all be put to rest tomorrow night when you can see, them squaring off face to face. Then you might have a better idea how the series goes. That's why you can only look at it from the past and what the Oilers have been doing through the first 3 rounds.
Hyman's a big loss. I know they play different positions though, but does the return of Ekholm in some way offset the loss of Hyman? Yeah, again, even though they play different positions, but it's like you've weakened the forwards a little bit, but you've strengthened the D.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, Hyman's not going to, Hyman won't be forechecking as much, but theoretically with Ekholm, the Oilers shouldn't be in their own end as much.
Well, you could even say that it flips the scales a little bit even in the Oilers' favor a bit more, because I think the presence of Ekholm on the D with Evan Bouchard outweighs the loss of Hyman. I think that it's more important to have a healthy Ekholm than to not have Hyman. I mean, the Oilers have proven that they can muck it up. They can, like you've said, grit.
Yeah,
they have that. But I think having Ekholm actually makes it a little bit more in favor for the Oilers in terms of losses and gains, so to speak.
Jasmine, our colleague here at EST, just putting in the nasty chat, OEG released more tickets for Game 1. Cheapest face value, $821.
Wow.
Or the way my mind works, about a dozen nice board games. Or about well over 100 comic books.
Should I try buy us a set, Reid?
Yeah, let's go to the game, Jay. Hey, we're busy, brah.
So you got everything set up with accreditation? You got your pass and everything?
Yes, I picked up my accreditation this morning. I'm ready to go.
Hernan said there was a lineup of scribes and media.
I was out onto the street. So it was in an area. I told the story of 2 guys and a goalie, but just to recap it, it was on the corner of 104 and 104. It wasn't at the kind of main entrance OEG office area. It was a part of Rogers Place I don't think I've ever been in before. But it was very quickly processed. Like I probably would have been between 30th and 40th in line when I got there, and I was probably out in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So you go in, show your ID, they get it for you, they put it on a lanyard, and you're out. I was there probably about 9:15 and done by 9:25 or so. So not too bad. But yeah, there's so many more. And I was saying this on 2 guys and a goalie. You think, well, there's more media in town. And your first instinct, like even mine as someone who works in broadcasting, you say, okay, well, TNT's sending, a color guy, 2 analysts and a producer. But no, they're also sending all the technical people too, right?
Yes.
And then there's other languages, people in from other countries to cover the series. So it is a lot. Like I said, I was in a line with, say, 30 to 40 people. So I saw people coming out. And then when I walked out, I walked past the rest of so I could have seen around 70 people. I saw 1 person I recognized from Edmonton.
Oh, right? Wow.
No, two. I saw 2. There was somebody ahead of me in line that does tech stuff with Rogers. So it's a big deal. And as I was saying, it's made very clear, if you post a photo of your credentials on social media, anywhere publicly, you lose the credentials.
Wow. I'm in the queue.
You're done. You try to buy tickets?
Yeah.
Oh, you just got a ding there from something. But the reason is because they're worried about forgeries, right? And you know, like in social media, it's like, hey, look, I got my pass. No, do not do that. Jared says, Reid, how easy do you think someone could have snuck in and got a media pass? Not, I know that person is probably joking. But when you get to the front of the line, they don't say, oh, what's your name and who do you work for? You just show them your driver's license. And they look at your picture, and then they have your pictures on your pass as well. So, Jared, I know Jared's probably joking, not joking. It would not be easy.
I could buy 2 seats right now, section 234, row 7, for $1,647.
If you want to go. I'm going to go as a member of the working media.
I'll go with you if you pay for my ticket.
Yeah. I love you, Coob.
Oh, my goodness. Tell you what, we have some comments from Oilers GM Stan Bowman coming up, head coach Chris Knobloch as well, as we are coming to you from the Banquet Studio. Every Monday, bowl for just $2 all day at the Banquet Bar. Walk in, grab your friends, start your week with some fun, get real, play hard, at the banquet. Keep giving us the thumbs up on YouTube. We are past 100, now moving to 155 for double word of the day, and then to 200 to keep our playoff streak going. Here comes the Coop.
Edmonton's Connor Brown skated today after missing Sunday's practice. Well, Connor Brown missed practice today with illness and is game time decision for Game 1 tomorrow. And Roby Arventi also ending a 1-year contract extension with the Oilers, signing a 2-year deal, or two-way deal. While in the association, New York has relieved Tom Thibodeau of his head coaching duties. Thibodeau spending the last 5 seasons as the head coach of the Knicks. Baseball action sees the Jays challenging the Phillies in their series opener just after 5 o'clock. Bowden Francis gets a start for the Jays. And staying with Toronto, 40-year-old Max Scherzer, who's been out since March 29th, is set to pitch in a simulated game on Sunday, while Tyler Heineman and Andres Jimenez have been taken off the injured list. Meanwhile, the Riverhawks open their season at home against the Harbor Cats. Listen to the full game live on any of EST's audio streams. First pitch goes at 7:05 for the Cactus Rats. They battle the Gulls at home, with Energy City looking to take their win streak to 3 straight games. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or call them at 780-467-5014. The Oil Understood follows up the commercial break. It brings us back on the other side of the commercial break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to close, head to the Banquet and dive into banquet burgers, sushi tacos, nachos, and more. Late night bites, big flavors, and epic deals. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Experience the iconic music of Dire Straits with DSL. Dire Straits Legacy, June 12th, in the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Featuring original members and musicians who recorded, performed, and toured the globe with Dire Straits. Alan Clark, Dire Straits' first keyboardist, plus Phil Palmer, Danny Cummings, and Mel Collins. This incredible show includes all the hits: Money for Nothing, Sultans of Swing, Walk of Life, and more. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Must you click? Click.
Yeah.
Must you click?
All right, there's the Thumb Click remix. Is put together by Zachary Kubish. If you are taking us in on the YouTube stream, click that like button. Give us a thumbs up. We want to get to 200 and keep our playoff streak alive. Also, thanks if you're tuning in through one of the audio apps, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. You can just go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. All that kind of fun stuff. Reid Wilkins, Jason Milne at 4:28 on a Tuesday afternoon, the day before the Stanley Cup Final starts in Edmonton. That's pretty fun to say, isn't it? And it's time to dive into the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel! Understood. I think Coob was hypnotizing himself during that pause.
Very good.
Coob is now walking around the room. Must dig for treasure. Must dig for treasure. All right.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
No, I wouldn't want to do it. Have you?
No, I've no.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever seen a hypnotist show. Where I probably have at some point.
Guy I went to high school with, played high school basketball with, is quite the hypnotist.
It's not that Wayne Lee guy, is it? That
No, but he's trained by Wayne Lee.
He's trained by Wayne Lee. Yeah.
his
Have you
name's
seen
Keith
him?
Miller.
Have you seen him perform?
Yeah. Well, yes, not in person. My wife was there and saw him around a campfire doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
And does he like humiliate people or is it
no,
fun?
no.
Okay.
No, that's not in his nature. It'd be good fun. But you can hypnotize yourself to get over other things. Like it's not just a show per se.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your mind's powerful, Reid.
Thank you.
Watch out. Watch out.
Watch out for your own mind.
Yeah, especially you.
What? What did he especially me?
You've got a great mind.
Oh, is that what you meant?
It was a compliment.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
You meant I had like some dangerous ability. Like, woo! Professor X or something.
Yeah.
All right. Stan Bowman is the general manager of your Edmonton Oilers. He took some questions today, and he was asked about, hey, you came in. Chris Knobloch was already the head coach. What do you think of the guy?
You know, I was watching from afar last year, and I was impressed with Chris, just his knowledge of the game and the way he explained things. And then I got a chance to meet him when I got here, and I've been incredibly impressed with his job as the coach. I don't think he gets enough recognition for the way that he's managed this group through this season. It's been a challenging year at times with injuries, and Chris has been able to manage that group and keep things on track all year long. I think he's done a great job. I'm really impressed with the way that he handles our players as well as makes adjustments. I think we see the game the same way, and when we have conversations about our team, I would say most of the time we're aligned in that, and certainly that makes it easier. But you don't always agree on everything, but I think he's a really smart guy, so when we talk things through, he always comes up with a game plan to prepare our team. So I think we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the job that Chris and the whole staff has done. They've done a tremendous job this year. I've really enjoyed working with them, and can't wait to keep it going.
All right, so that is Stan Bowman. Now, look, you'd hope he says positive things publicly about his coach. His coach is also in the Stanley Cup Final, so there's not much to nitpick. Chris was also sitting next to Stan during those comments, but I did find that interesting because he kind of broke down how he handled things, how he handled the tough times a year when there was the injuries, and that's really why you hire a coach, right? You don't hire a coach because you think, oh, this guy's really good when the team's playing well. No, you hire a coach because he can adjust or know what to adjust when the team is playing poorly. When to sit back, when to crack the whip, all that kind of stuff.
Well, and I wonder, because Knobloch was here before Bowman came in.
Yes.
And those two positions need to be quite aligned, I would think.
Yeah.
Phyllis, as how they look at the game, which Stan Bowman said they view it very similarly. He commented on how smart he is in preparing for games. But you wonder, as the GM, okay, is he okay? I'm going to assemble the team. I'm going to do all that. You run it, or is there a lot more? Is it a lot more of a two-way street?
No, I think that the GMs generally make sure they're not coaching the team.
Right.
But I do think there are conversations about, okay, what's this player's strength? Or if he talks about, okay, we want to add this guy, how are we going to use him?
Like is Stan Bowman sitting in the special teams meeting talking about how they might be able to tweak their power play?
No, I don't think he would be in those types of meetings.
I would think not.
No,
and
I
kind of hope
I
not.
would think he'd be involved in maybe higher level discussions.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we talked about it late in the season.
What are we not doing, or why are we losing these games? Okay, if we're not physical enough, Chris. Okay, he might. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, okay, well, we're not physical enough. Chris, are there guys who can play physical that aren't in the lineup?
Mm-hmm.
Can you? And then Chris knows. Okay, I got to try to assemble them. But I think they kind of know why they're losing. And I think now coaches understand. I think, what was the line that Parcells had? Like, because he wanted to be the GM. He's like, I want to pick my own groceries if I'm going to cook the meal.
Yeah.
But I think also a coach has to understand the groceries that are given to him and what type of meal he can cook with that. But I think it's interesting, right? Because a lot of the criticism, one of the criticisms on Knobloch for a lot of the season was, he doesn't coach his team to hit. He doesn't coach his team to play physical. But he didn't have Kane nor Frederick for most of the season. And now the Oilers are an absolute beast physically. And Hyman was hurt. And then plus they turned it up for the playoffs.
While in playoff, Bush wasn't there. It was regular season
playoff,
Bush.
nasty, crazy Bush wasn't there for sure. Really interesting clip here. Stan Bowman. The question he was asked was sort of looking back on his time with Chicago and having, those core players. Who they had? I guess you'd associate Kane, Taves, and Keith and Seabrook mostly with
100%.
That team. And a lot of them, the Hawks weren't very good, and they built up, and then they got their first cup, and then they got a couple more. The question was sort of about McDavid looking for his first Stanley Cup, but he gave sort of a more detailed answer than that, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, the first time I talked to Connor, I went to see him in the summer after I started, and all he talked about was, I just want to win the cup. That was it. We didn't talk about anything else. So his focus this is his singular focus. Like, he's accomplished everything he could accomplish individually in this sport. He continues to dazzle us, every game, every round, makes a difference. Incredibly motivated and driven to win. I can't think of, you run out of superlatives to talk about him as a player and describe what he does on the ice. I think the thing that's equally impressive is the way he is, driving our team with his determination. And, there's no one else you want to go to battle with than someone like that. He's our leader. Not only is he impressive with what he can do on the ice, but his focus in driving us. So you could see how bad he wanted it last year when it didn't go Edmonton's way in Game 7. And right now, he's on a mission. I think as much as you get excited when you win, I think, I've noticed it from even the first round, the second round, even in Dallas, he's still very focused on, we need 4 more wins.
I just thought that was a great story. A little bit of insight. It's like, okay, I'm the GM of the Oilers now. I got to go meet with Connor McDavid. And all the guy talks about is winning the Stanley Cup. As a GM, that would have to make you feel pretty good. Like, okay, he's determined. Like, this isn't lip service.
Yeah.
This isn't like, he wants to win, but I'm not sure if he really wants to win. I just thought that was a little pretty good. I'm not saying we don't know this about McDavid, but I thought it was interesting to get it from Bowman.
Good insight for sure.
McDavid himself was asked about some of the changes on defense by the Edmonton Oilers. Now, specifically, we've talked about Wallman and Klingberg, both coming in during the season at different times and by different circumstances. But McDavid kind of got into a little bit more detailed answer about the Oilers' D-core as well.
I think D-men are so important. And every time that this group has gone out and added a D-man, it's really taken our group to the next level. I think about a couple of years ago, we had Kulak and what that did for our group. Bushi taking a step has done wonders for our group. We go out and get Ekholm, and all of a sudden we're in the conference final or whatever. And Wallman's just been the same way, and Klingberg stepping in has been so big for our group, obviously with Eki going down early. So D-men are so important, and obviously we've got a bunch of really good ones, and helps a lot.
In 2022, the Oilers made the conference final. Remember, they beat Calgary in the second round, made the conference final, were swept by the very, very good Colorado Avalanche. The Oilers used 7 defensemen in that series. Chris Russell, Cody Ceci, Duncan Keith, Evan Bouchard, Tyson Barrie, Brett Kulak, who was a new Oiler, and Darnell Nurse. So they still have Nurse, Kulak, and Bouchard, though Kulak was new at the time. So now you got, they used 7D against Dallas, right? Klingberg, Stetcher, Wallman, and then Ekholm came back. So even if you look at I know that's a 3-year comparison, and Bowman talked about it today as well, that it's a better puck-moving decor than even the start of the year, and probably even that one from 3 years ago, if you want to look at it that way.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
And that's been a big difference. I mean, you've said it before. I've said it before. Getting the puck out of your zone, out of harm's way, to one or two of the best players in the world. That's a good game plan.
Yeah.
But you need the people that can do it. And I think, you were right earlier. You said Benny was doing Coob was doing a video about, who's been the biggest surprise for you. And I think you said John Klingberg.
To be fair, I think I said Kapanen.
Oh, did you say
Kapanen? But I have mentioned Klingberg in that capacity. No, the one thing I said in that video, I think I said Kapanen. But I think I said about Klingberg, if you would have told me the day before the playoffs started that the Oilers were going to make the Stanley Cup Final and John Klingberg would have 0 games played, I would have said, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But then he got in for the second game against LA and has been very, very good for the most part.
Well, and think of what he was brought in for. John Klingberg. Remember the Klingberg signing day? The place went nuts.
We had a
huge day at EST. But that was to, I guess, improve the depth of the Oilers' D.
Right.
And for him to do much more than that and contribute offensively and be as solid and steady as he has back then or back there, I mean, that is bonus for what you're paying him.
Well, here's what I will say, and look, I think Florida's a great team. So when I say I think the Oilers can do something, I'm not suggesting it's going to be easy or that Florida can't counteract it. But they get Ekholm back, and then they have 6 players who can move the puck up the ice. Like they do, I know the Oilers do flip it out a lot.
That's
when
fine.
they're under pressure, but they have guys who can make passes. So you have Ekholm back there who can move the puck and stop the cycle. And then you have other guys who can all get the puck up the ice. Maybe, Nurse might skate it a little more often. Even Kulak can skate pretty well. But, okay, do you worry about the Oilers getting hemmed in and getting forechecked? Sure. But I think Florida has to worry about that as well. So, if the puck is back there and you got to get it up the ice quickly with a sharp pass, every Oilers defenseman can do that. Some better than others, yes, but I think they can all do it. Let's get one more clip in here for the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. It is from Connor McDavid. He was asked about the composure of Evan Bouchard.
Bushy is amazing that way. Nothing phases him. Big games, big moments. Makes a mistake, nothing rattles him. It's amazing to see. He's really elevated his game as well. I think more so in his own zone has been fantastic. He's been on the kill, been doing what he does. He's great.
All right. It is interesting. Like Bouchard is such a fascinating player because he's clearly a more sturdy defender in the postseason. And I've said it. A lot of people have said, I don't think I'm the only one, but I'll say what I've said. It's like, God, get engaged, man.
Yeah.
Show some passion. But now in the playoffs, it's like, oh, look how steady he is. Right?
Well, it's what was it? In the regular season, he was 0.69 points per game. In the playoffs, he's almost at 1.1 points per game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is the largest spread by a long shot,
right,
for anybody from a difference from a regular season to a playoff. Now, I also think that can also be taken negatively when assessing Evan Bouchard, saying, well, where's that all year? You're clearly capable of it. Now, in the moment's right, okay, maybe that's the argument, but hey, whatever it is, Oilers fans will take it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Chris Cuthbert scheduled to join us in about an hour here on the Reid Wilkins Show. And yeah, we need 75 thumbs to get to 200.
We got to make it happen.
It's one of those days. I don't know if it's thumb fatigue or if people are mad at me. They could be a little mad at me, but we got to get the thumbs going.
Maybe they're just anxious.
Maybe they're just anxious for the Cup Final.
And they're going like this and they're hiding their thumbs.
Exactly. They got their thumbs in a ball.
Or under their armpits.
And are they making farting noises with their hands under their armpits?
It's been a long time since I tried doing that.
I was like, I don't know if I could still do that.
I don't know
that
if
was
I
a big
could.
thing when you were a kid.
Huge.
That was massive back in
I don't
Evansburg.
even understand the dynamics behind it now.
All right. What was that, Coop?
Oh, just me on my computer.
Stray audio coming through. Buying or selling for Damon Bunting. I did a really interesting radio hit last night. And you know about this show on Sirius.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know about what it's like to be in Edmonton during the playoffs. They weren't so much interested in the hockey analysis. They wanted the vibe. They wanted to know about if the Oilers are Canada's team.
Ooh.
So I want to specifically get into some of the things they said for buying or selling for Damon Bunting when we get back.
Edmonton's Connor Brown missed practice this morning, being listed as a game-time decision for Game 1 tomorrow due to illness. Plus, the Oilers have signed 22-year-old forward Roby Järventie to a one-year, two-way contract extension. And in the NBA, New York has fired Tom Thibodeau, head coach, after 5 seasons with the Knicks. They failed to get past the Pacers, falling in 6 games during the East Final last week. MLB action sees Toronto hosting Philly for their series opener. First pitch just after 5. Bowden Francis starts for the Jays. In other news, Max Scherzer, 40-year-old right-hander, is set to pitch in a simulated game on Sunday. He's been away from action since the end of March due to a thumb injury. Staying in Toronto, Anthony Santander's rehab has been pushed back after he had injections in his shoulder, while Andre Jimenez and Tyler Heineman have been taken off the injured list. 3 teams are warming up, 3 games about to get going in just a moment, including the Astros and the Pirates. Well, from Edmonton, the Riverhawks scrap with the Harbor Cats just after 7. Catch the full game right here on EST through any of our audio streams. First pitch at 7:05. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine. Connor McDavid has a team of specialists, and you're stuck with a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sports Medicine. Call them at 780-460-9977 or visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca. Buying or selling is what brings us back on the other side of the break here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Timeout Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place, anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Wholesat, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. You might have heard Coop in the Sports Update. Connor Brown under the weather, not on the ice today. Game time decision for Game 1 tomorrow between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers as they start the Stanley Cup Final at Rogers Place. So tomorrow for the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne, we're 3 to 5 p.m. And then Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, Matt Cassian take over the stream for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show from 5 until 6. And then they're on afterwards for the post-game show as well to break down whatever happens in Game 1 of this series. Couple of limericks to get to. Jeff in YYZ, who usually sends one in earlier in the day, he says, I looked at the time long after 2. Oh no, a limerick, what should I do? The bookbinder inspires, does he even perspire? Double words, David Lee Roth compels you. What? That is,
he did amend it.
Did he make a mistake?
He amended it and resent it. Double words, Sammy Hagar compels you.
Oh, for double. Well, that's the end of the David Lee Roth one. Here it is.
Whoa! Whoa!
All right. Keep clicking the thumbs up. I don't know what's going on with your thumbs today. Little sleepy. We need 65 to get to 200.
Let's get to VR Montenegro's limerick while we're at it. Coming to us as Vegemite Ruben Montenegro today.
Oh.
Head on down to Remax. Let's hope for some sun. Worst case, Ontario, grab a dog on a bun. Tell your ma and pa, let's go Hawks. Caca! I'll wager the Harbor Cats don't score a run.
And now, is it a daytime game tomorrow or a morning game already for the Riverhawks?
I think it's the school one.
So sort of I
think that was one of their sellouts because all the school kids come. I believe it's at 11.
So it's not the... it's kind of their version of the hockey hooky. Wednesday, June 4th is our school spirit game, and we'll start at 11:05. That's pretty cool. So you could actually do Riverhawks and Oilers tomorrow. You might have to miss work for one of them, depending on when you work.
That would be fun.
That actually would be pretty fun.
Be an expensive day. The latter part.
Well, yes, especially the Oilers. What is it, $820 a ticket?
Yeah, chump change, Reid.
That's all. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Might as well do Bronco Nick's limerick here too. As I sit waiting for the finals to be done, I have thoughts of life, weird and fun. Is Connor AI or just a Jedi? He has the Force and makes it so, number one. That's very good. That is very good stuff coming in from Bronco Nick. Let's dive into buying or selling, presented by Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. So yesterday, I was asked to do a hit, as we call it, in the business. What was the exact name of the show? I had it open and now I foolishly closed it. It was Mad Dog
Sports Radio on Sirius.
Sports Radio on Sirius.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was a show that's on their
on Visson. Right. I think it was out of Vegas, but it seemed they had a Detroit focus on the show. Like I was listening about Detroit Lions stuff before I went on. Anyway, I wound up being on this show for 33 minutes, which is a pretty lengthy guest hit. So either they thought I was interesting or I just wouldn't shut up. But Patrick and Dustin were the two hosts who were asking me questions, and they were very interested in, obviously, because, I think the nature of that show would not be, well, why do the Oilers pressure that way on the PK? It was more like, hey, Edmonton's in the Cup Final. What are McDavid and Draisaitl like? What's the fan base like? They even asked me, like, what if, like, they want to know, did you see the teams in the 80s? Like, did you have any memory of those teams? So I explained, yeah, I saw those teams. I was, younger, but I saw them, and now I cover the team. And they wanted to know, what's it like in Edmonton? And I remember saying at one point, well, look, I could come on your show and make some outrageous claim like the Oilers are everything in the city, but I wouldn't want to make an understatement like that. And I told, I didn't reference Sid Smith's name, but I referenced what Sid would tell me, and younger news people, especially working at Chet at the time. You have to remember, the Oilers aren't the biggest sports story of the day. They're often one of the biggest stories of the day in Edmonton, especially if it's a game day. And when they're in the playoffs, they might be the biggest story of the day. And I even gave the example like, oh, hey, city council just eliminated property taxes. Oh, that's cool. Who's on the Oilers' second line? Like, so it was interesting talking about stuff that way. And it was fun for me to kind of give the vibe in Edmonton. And sure. I love living here. I love this city. So I felt, the kind of promote it a little bit and just let people know how cool the passion is for the team. And then one of them has said that they had a caller who was basically, from a previous show who said, Connor's going to get one. And this is for all of Canada for Edmonton to win the cup. And they said, what's that like that the Oilers are sort of carrying this mantle? And I said, I don't think that they are. So that's my buying or selling for you, Jay. Like, is the rest of Canada, are other hockey markets happy if the Oilers win the cup? I would say as a whole, probably not. I think most fans would want it to be their own team. And I did say to these guys, it might vary from market to market. And they kind of said, well, certainly Calgary fans wouldn't want to win the Oilers. I said, honestly, the number one fan base that wouldn't want the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, to me, are Canucks fans. Mm-hmm. I think Flames fans might be a little more tolerant of it, quite frankly.
Well, probably. And I would disagree. I would think that the Oilers would be taken on as Canada's team. I mean, when it comes to this, and your team's not in it, but there's a chance that, when was the last time Canada won the Stanley Cup? 1993?
Yep.
And there's a chance that you could get Canada back to holding the Stanley Cup. And the keepers of the cup are in Canada now. I think, now, definitely outside of major markets, definitely outside of that, you would see a lot more people interested or wanting to see the Oilers win. It's hard to say in market, though. It's hard to say what the GTA would feel about, the Oilers winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Would they like to see it? Do they even care?
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that those, the show I was on, they were kind of saying too, like the great players need to have their moment. And I said, you're sure? Like when McDavid had his moment in the Four Nations face-off, maybe he'll have one in the Olympics, and maybe he'll get the cup this time around. Do you agree with me about Canucks fans though?
Yes, they would. Oddly enough, you would think it would be Calgary fans, but I think the most, I guess, despised fan base from Vancouver's perspective would be the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Spency 5 Centsy makes an interesting point that I think right now the cheering for any Canadian team thing is higher than ever.
Maybe.
It could very well be true.
I don't know. And we're so immersed in what's happening here. I mean, we're not going around the country to see how people are feeling. I also said, because they kind of said, what would the cup mean there in Edmonton? And I said, I think regardless of the age of the fan, and I guess people can tell me how they think, and I guess maybe for a lot of Oilers fans, they don't know how they're going to feel for sure until it happens. That's one of the things about life. You might think, well, if this ever happened to me, I'd be sad, whatever. But I've found as I've become a more grizzled person, you never know how something's going to feel until it happens to you.
Sure.
But I do think if the Oilers won the Stanley Cup, there would be somewhere in a lot of people's minds, there would be like, now I can die in peace. Even if you're younger, even if you're 20, somewhere in your mind, you maybe not at that blunt, like maybe I shouldn't use the death thing, but I do think there would be a lot of, at least I got to see that.
Sure.
Regardless of whatever else happens in my life, at least I got to see this team win the Stanley Cup. And even if you're maybe I remember the 5-7. There might be some fans who are seniors in their 80s, 90s, or whatever who got to experience that as adults. But I think for them it'd be like, at least I got to see I had this great team. They sucked for almost 30 years to varying degrees, and I got to see it again. And then I think maybe for younger fans, maybe not if you're 8 and you only remember McDavid playing for the team, but like buying or selling, that if you're a fan, say 15 or older, maybe 20 or older, that if they win the Stanley Cup, there would be some satisfaction that would last the rest of your life.
I don't know about that. I think the older people, like you said, those that can maybe realize the brevity of what's going on or what could happen, they might remember that and say, okay, now that's good. I've seen it at this age. But I think younger fans would say, okay, on to next year. Let's do this again.
Well, I think anybody would want to do it again. But yeah, I think anybody would want to do it again. But it's hard to win more than one, right? I mean, it took Ovechkin 13 years. Connor's in year 10. But
well, what about this? Because Big Uke made a comment, something I'll paraphrase, but people may not care about the Oilers, but they want to see Connor McDavid win a Stanley Cup in Canadians.
Yes, that might be true.
And that was true when Sidney Crosby was, hoisted the cup for the first time with Pittsburgh. I think Canadians celebrated that because he was, the next great superstar on Team Canada.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. You want to see the great player rewarded for his greatness by having a good team around him that is worthy of winning a championship. Anyway, it was an interesting chat with these guys. They asked me a couple more hockey-centric questions at the end, but it was a lot about, what's it like there? They even said, are Canadians upset that a Florida team is in the Cup final 6 years in a row and might win it 4 out of 6 years? And I'd never thought about that too much. I mean, we're used to having teams in southern markets now. Certainly Tampa Bay has been a pretty strong franchise. Florida went through their more of an era where people weren't going to games. And I even told the story of how they put up plywood when the glass went out about 10 years ago. And I said this, I think for Oilers fans, it'd be more about Tkachuk winning it again, because he's kind of a disliked player and he used to play for the Flames. To me, I think if the Oilers lose, they're upset, whether it's the Rangers, Bruins, Panthers, or Flyers,
I don't think it matters.
Or whoever. I don't know if there's. I think there was towards Arizona. There was a lot of screw that team, get them out of there as a Southern team. I don't know if I sensed that kind of
turned into a bit more of a debacle.
Yeah, a bit of a joke. So
the mullet arena.
Yeah, but it was interesting getting those types of questions, because they did ask me some things that I wouldn't think so much about.
Yeah,
right.
Very neat.
Yeah, we were watching some of it earlier.
You did fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it.
Looked great.
Well, I don't know about that. Yeah. We need 50 thumbs, everybody. We need 50 thumbs in just under an hour to get to 200.
Chris Cuthbert's
we got Chris Cuthbert coming up. You got give a thumb for Cuff. My goodness. Edmonton Sports Talk is presented by Play Alberta. Gaming made easy anytime, anywhere. With Play Alberta, you've got a full casino experience right at your fingertips. Play from your phone, tablet, or computer whenever works for you. Download the Play Alberta app today and get started with 150. That's the wrong amount. With a $50 casino bonus, just deposit $20 with the promo code EST Casino. Play smart, play local, and remember to use your game sense. Go on playalberta.ca. Look for Jay's Play of the Day under EST Specials, which is pretty cool. This is a good one from K69er. Thanks for the handle. I moved from England to Edmonton in 2004. I suffered through the decade of darkness, jumped for joy when we got Connor in the lottery, and I want to see them raise Lord Stanley, which is very cool.
Do you want to see them raise?
No, I don't want to see them raise Lord Stanley. I want them to see the. They're going to
phrase
they are
like
not,
that.
They are not K69er. They are not raising Lord Stanley. They will not be raising the remains of the long deceased Lord. They are raising Lord Stanley's cup, the Stanley Cup. Yes. I forgot about that.
Maybe they can summons Lord
Stanley. And now here is Lord Stanley. 5 o'clock break.
The EST Hangout.
I'll say from a men's room experience, we do line up pretty good, and the moment you see one open, you go. And whether it's a urinal, and even if it's you only have to go number one, and you see the toilet open, you go there. You go, that one's open, I'm gone. Yeah, Big U, the only thing we do efficiently. Yeah, man, we go in and out quickly. Like we're in there for business, and we don't waste time.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Friday's just got a whole lot more fun. Spin the wheel at the banquet for your shot to win big and save on your bill. Spin, win, save. It's that easy. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Timeout Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place, anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At Mind360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Connor Brown of the Oilers missed practice today due to illness and is a game-time decision for Game 1 tomorrow. In other news, Roby Järventie inked a one-year extension with the Oilers, agreeing to a two-way deal. In the association, New York has relieved Tom Thibodeau of his head coaching duties, with Thibodeau spending the last 5 seasons as a head coach of the Knicks. Baseball action has the Jays challenging the Phillies in their series opener just after 5 o'clock. Bowden Francis gets a start for Toronto. And staying with the Jays, 40-year-old Max Scherzer, who's been out of action since March 29th, is set to pitch in a simulated game on Sunday. Tyler Heineman and Andres Jimenez have been taken off the injured list as well. 3 games are live right now, including the Cubs trailing the Nationals 1-0 in the top of the second. Meanwhile, the Riverhawks open their season at home against the Harbor Cats. Listen to the full game live on any of the EST's audio streams with first pitch just after 7. For the Cactus Rats, they battle the Gulls at home. Energy City looking to extend their win streak to 3 straight games. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Oh my goodness, just over 25 hours away from the start of the Stanley Cup Final. Finally, Oilers home to the Panthers tomorrow. Jay Milne, Reid Wilkins, coming to you from the Banquet Studio. Craving a late night snack? Check out the Banquet's new late night happy hour menu. Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till close. Enjoy favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or the Banquet Burger at happy hour prices. The Banquet, get real. Play hard. A lot of Oilers chatter today, of course. A lot of fun along the way as well. Our off-topic topic for William Huff, because Jay's premise was, the Oilers have been picked by the team. What am I saying here? The team they've been playing in the 3 subsequent rounds has been picked by more experts, and the Oilers have won every round. And even in this one, it's probably a slightly more people are picking Florida. And, the Elks are picked to be, the second worst team in the CFL still by a lot of people. So what's something or someone that you feel deserves a little more respect? I said comic book writers. You said curly fries. Shawn Belle said people who clean sewage. We've had.
He also said flats.
Flat wings.
Flat wings.
We've had teachers suggested. We've had some other yeah.
Mark from Hope. His food that doesn't get enough respect. Burger King.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
TV show. Whose line is it anyways?
That was a good show. Is it still on?
Great show. But I mean, the original one that was hosted by Drew Carey, or maybe it wasn't the original, but the one that I certainly remember was Wayne Brady, Drew Carey,
Ryan Stiles,
and Colin Mockery.
Who's coming to the Fringe again.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a great show last year.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Liquid Beaver says, you know what doesn't get enough respect? The oil and gas industry. All right.
Fair enough.
Collingwood Rob says, I want the Oilers to win for 2 reasons. 1, I can enjoy glory days and reflect back to my dad and brother who have passed. 2, I would love to see the youth, my 20-year-old nephew and my 16-year-old grandson, witness what I got to back in with Connor lifting the cup. There you go.
Yeah. Good stuff. We appreciate those responses for sure. We have 160 thumbs. We need 40 in the last 40 minutes of the show. 45 minutes of the show or so. Chris Cuthbert is coming up in about half an hour. Of course, he'll be calling the games, doing play-by-play on CBC, Sportsnet, all the Rogers platforms that have been bringing you the playoffs along the way. Of course, there might be some people that aren't old enough to remember this. Like Chris Cuthbert was a sportscaster on CBC Edmonton. Like I remember him doing late-night highlights when I was probably in junior high and thinking he was very good. And then he started doing Hockey Night in Canada, and he's had an amazing career. So he's coming up in about
He's
about
in the
half an hour.
CFL Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Broadcasters wing. He's a great guy. And he's so friendly, right? Like that he wouldn't have to do radio hits for little old Reid Wilkins. But he's doing it.
Man, he must love you.
Awesome guy. Well, he knows who I am. That's
We'll ask him, okay?
We'll say that. It is time to crunch the numbers for Gallo LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP if you'd like to discuss further how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow. Visit their website, GalloLLP.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow.
Interesting story. So I'm going to tell you what I found this out, and then I'm gonna give you some interesting names, and you have to put the name, associate the rink with the player's name. Okay.
Okay. So I get a little bit of trivia here.
Yeah.
I like that.
But just saw this that Rogers had this initiative where they wanted to bring in ice from the hometown rinks of 6 Oilers players. So they scraped ice, and Coob, I saw you had that picture. You can throw it up whenever you get a chance. They scraped the ice of 6 different sheets from around Canada, put them into thermoses, and shipped them to Edmonton.
Really?
So this is one of the thermoses here.
Okay.
And added this to the Rogers Place ice sheet mix for Game 1.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Kevin Lowe was asked about it. He compared it to 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City where they hid the loonie under center ice. He thought that was a neat touch. This picture, the reason we have this picture is because a listener, Barry the Cheater, who is, as you know, and I know, we saw him at Hockey Helps the Homeless.
Yep.
He's responsible for a lot of different sheets of ice in Edmonton. He scraped ice from the Confederation Arena.
So that'd be Skinner.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
There
And
you go.
I know one of the other ones because I heard the interview about it today, but you can give me all of them. So I'm 1 for 1.
Okay. This is kind of funny because, Magna Center in Newmarket, Ontario.
McDavid?
Ding, ding, ding. The Burnaby Winter Club.
That's Nuge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the one I heard the interview about today.
The
Nuge didn't know about it.
Right.
When someone asked him.
That was true. The North Shore Winter Club.
Who would that be? That's a West Coast one as well. So who am I missing? Don't tell me. Who would that? Oh, Kane. Vander Kane.
The rink called The Rink in Winnipeg.
Who is from Winnipeg? Oh, Pickard. Should know that.
And this one was...
We should know that. Plus, we had his brother.
Yeah, we did have his brother
from Winnipeg.
This one is funny because all they said was a rink in Hamilton.
Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
A rink in Hamilton.
Rink in Hamilton.
Just like.
No, I thought that was a neat touch. So
it couldn't bring some in from Stony Plain for Kulak?
Yeah, right. I mean, I wonder how they capped that.
Just six, eh? Yeah. And then, so what? They're going to put the shavings in the ice for tomorrow's game?
Apparently.
Oh, that's
I've
never heard of that before. It's probably happened before. I have never heard of that before.
So tomorrow you'll see the refs skating over to one ice and scraping off this bump out of the ice.
That stupid North Shore ice said would never mix as well.
I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to mix. But yeah, it's kind of neat to see Barry the Cheater was responsible for scraping the ice off at Confederation Arena on the south side. And fancy thermoses, too.
I'm just glad I got them all correct. Because I was trying to think, like, what are the hometowns of everybody?
That was very
And they're
good.
all, they only did Canadian rinks.
That's right. So, Quaddy, no ice from Hamburg. That's correct.
Isn't Leon from Cologne?
Who knows?
I thought he was
Just kidding.
I thought he was from Cologne.
Well, that's a funny thing because that came up once on Spit and Chicklets with Paul Bissonnette about Cologne and Leon Draisaitl being from Cologne. And he thought they were talking about cologne, like spray, the whole interview.
What?
And that Leon Draisaitl had his own cologne.
Oh, that. Well, he probably could. Well, he probably could.
He probably could, yes.
I think which Oiler player would do the best marketing his own cologne?
Okay.
Like Leon would have to be up there. Maybe Henrique.
Well, I'm thinking names.
Maybe Evander.
I'm thinking names.
Oh, like name of the cologne.
Like
Henrique would be like, do you want to smell like a hen?
Right. Or Rico.
It could be Cluck.
Clucky. What about Kane?
Yeah, we get Kane for sure.
Kane, ice.
He would love it too.
Hey, how about that? Kane, ice.
The dog. K9 is his brand, right?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he wore number 9, K9.
K9.
Oh, right. Okay.
There you go.
The dog. Smell like a dog.
Smells like dog's breath.
Oh, jeez.
Wouldn't it be like the Sex Panther cologne from Anchorman?
Right. Yeah.
Another question that I didn't get to, and this is going to make you think. This
is
going
more
to
trivia?
No, it's okay. So Alexander Barkov named the Selke Award winner for the third time in his career.
Right. I think was Leon 5th in the voting. I think I had the voting up. I'll get it.
So I'm giving you, Reid. You have a brand new NHL franchise.
Okay.
It's going to be from Evansburg.
Leon was 6th. Eichel was 5th.
Okay, so first I came up with the name for your NHL franchise in Evansburg. I called it the Evansburg Existence.
What does this have to do with the Selke Trophy?
Just wait.
Okay.
Hear me out. But for one job, I need you to name your team. Secondly,
Evansburg Existence.
If you could choose a player to start your team with that you knew was going to win a major award that season, the first season of the Evansburg Existence,
yes.
Would you choose a player who was going to win the Selke, the Hart, Calder, Vezina? If you knew you could line up one player.
The Hart.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I don't even need to hear the whole list.
Really?
Well, the Hart's the MVP. Why would I not want the most valuable player on my brand new team?
Wouldn't you want the best defenseman?
What a marketing
the best defensive
tool.
forward?
No, I would want the MVP of the league. I would definitely want the MVP.
Really?
of
I'm
the league.
surprised you didn't give that more thought.
Well, the MVP is the most valuable player. Why would I not want that player on my team? There's no better if you're going to market your team.
Not the highest scorer?
Well, if you win the Hart Trophy, you probably are one of the highest scorers in the league.
Not always.
If not, but probably one of. Usually a forward that wins it.
The Goat Farmer says Evansburg Executioners.
The Evansburg Existence. And the tagline for the team could be, "We skate, therefore we are."
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't give much more thought to that, Reid. I got to be honest with you. Not the Vezina?
Well, why would I not pick
the best goaltender?
best player?
What about the best goaltender?
Well, this year that might be the Hart Trophy winner.
You could get both.
No, I would take the Hart Trophy winner.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, no doubt about it.
So
sorry, buddy.
What's your Evansburg team name other than the existence?
What could it be? The Grouches. The Evansburg Grouches.
Evansburg River Cats?
Just put River or Cat.
Yeah, something River.
It could be the Evansburg Grouches because they have the Grouch of the Year. That would actually be a fun team name.
That would be.
Maybe not for a high-level pro, but there has to be a minor league baseball team called the Grouches somewhere that has like a garbage can as their logo. You'd go for the Evansburg Grouches. It's been a long time since I lived in Evansburg. The railway, the Grand Trunk Railway runs through there.
Something there.
The Evansburg Engine.
The Evansburg Express.
The Evansburg Express. I like that as when the Esks were changing their name. I like Edmonton Express.
Right.
For the new football team name. Yeah, Evansburg Express would be pretty good.
Right. And you get Leon Draisaitl on your team.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
Spency 5 Centsy, the Evansburg Burgers. Or just the Evans Burgers.
Evans Burgers.
that could work as well. All right, 780-218-9999 is how you text us. The afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. If you're taking us in on YouTube, let's rally here. Let's have some late game execution, as I like to say it. Get in there and click the thumbs up. If you already have, then thank you. If you haven't, don't be a pleasure delayer. Get in there and click. Share the link for the show with somebody else and say, hey, give these guys a like. We got Chris Cuthbert coming up in about 20 minutes. Great Canadian broadcasting legend who's going to be doing the play-by-play here for the Stanley Cup Final. So we're going to do our words of the day in the next segment because Cuth is with us at the end of the show. So in the next segment, we'll do a double word of the day. Here comes the Coop.
After missing practice this morning, Connor Brown of the Oilers is a game-time decision for tomorrow's Game 1 due to illness. And 7 games are underway in baseball, seeing the Phillies up 3-0 on the Jays in the top of the first. Just 1 out for the Phillies. Bowden Francis on the mound for the Jays. Bases are loaded. Brandon Marsh at bat for Philly. Staying in Toronto, Max Scherzer continues his return to play. He'll pitch a simulated game on Sunday, being out with a thumb injury since the end of March. Meanwhile, Andres Jimenez and Tyler Heineman have been taken off the injured list. Back in Edmonton, the Riverhawks play the Harbor Cats. EST has full coverage of the game on any of our audio streams with first pitch at 7. Elsewhere, the Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau after he spent the last 5 years as the head coach in New York. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc. Locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since 93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. We have a brief intermission before the show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Great button for Pro-Am Sports. Jake Ottinger, be better. You're getting paid $8.25 million, and you were garbage. You were terrible. And guess what? There's a pattern here, and it shows up and rears its ugly head. You don't want to be criticized, be better. Or turn your money in. And if it's too hard for you, oh boy, you know what? Let's break out the squat tissues. I got no time for it.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Experience the iconic music of Dire Straits with DSL, Dire Straits Legacy, June 12th in the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Featuring original members and musicians who recorded, performed, and toured the globe with Dire Straits. Alan Clark, Dire Straits' first keyboardist, plus Phil Palmer, Danny Cummings, and Mel Collins. This incredible show includes all the hits, Money for Nothing, Sultans of Swing, Walk of Life, and more. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, hope you're doing great this afternoon. Media Day at Rogers Place for the Stanley Cup Final. Oilers GM Stan Bowman answering some questions today. Some comments on Stuart Skinner, the Oilers goaltender.
I think Stuart, he has a good demeanor for a goalie. He's a pretty easygoing guy, and it's the toughest position in sports probably, with the attention that they get. And you look up and down the lineup, everyone makes mistakes. Forwards do, defensemen do. When the goalie does, then everyone pays attention. A lot of times, a forward will make a terrible play, and you don't even talk about it because it gets broken up by a defenseman or the goalie makes a save. So I think you have to have that ability to shrug things off, and he's a very even keel guy. He's had some ups and downs. I think people focus probably more on the downs than the ups. He had a real good stretch there from, I think our team started slow in October, but early November until probably mid-January, he played really well. And our team was on a roll. And then you see what he can do when he comes into the last couple of rounds here. Yeah, he started in LA, and our team wasn't very good, the first couple games either. We didn't give him much help, and he wasn't on top of his game either, but he was able to shrug that off, and he came back in, and we wouldn't be here without him the way he's played. So, I think it's a lot of the goaltending is the mentality, because mistakes happen, goals are going to happen nearly every game, and the ability to deal with that adversity, I think, has been impressive.
A little bit there from Oilers GM Stan Bowman on the Oilers goaltender going into this series, Stuart Skinner. Interesting how so much of the talk around the Oilers now, Jay, has been about the mental approach, either the calmness or the ability to deal with adversity or bounce back from it or not panic or all those types of things.
Well, that was brought up by Stuart Skinner himself, that he's been able to find his happy place leading up to games. He's been in a much better mental space or place, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's a question, Reid. Like that is an honest question: is can the Oilers continue playing so well in front of Stuart Skinner? And it wasn't just the Oilers playing well in front of Stuart Skinner, last series or against Vegas. Stuart Skinner played very well.
Yes, he's played good games. I mean, haven't been a lot of goals where you say, like maybe the Robertson one, but again, that's also a good shooter, knowing where he wants to put the puck. And probably his best game, what was the final score in that one game against he allowed a goal. It wasn't one of the shutouts, but it was it game 4 against Dallas where he was really, really good. So yeah, hopefully he can keep going and the team keeps defending hard in front of him. Let's do another clip here. Chris Knobloch, the coach of the team, was asked, how do you counter Florida's physical style?
Well, we've got our share of players that like that physicality too. Certainly don't think we're shy from that play. Even last year, I think our team's made up a little bit different than it was last year. But probably the best way to counter that is just moving the puck well. The longer you hold on to it, the more time they get to get in and finish their checks. So I think it's important that we're moving it quickly, but also precisely. And, if you're just sloppy with the puck, then you're probably chasing the game for most of it. So, they're a lot of credit to them. They are a good forward-checking team. They finish their checks quite regularly, and we expect to be hit. But we're not a team that shies away from that. Like, we've been played a lot of teams last year and this year throughout the playoffs that like that physicality, and our guys are pretty accepting of it.
All right. Yeah. As he talked about, the Oilers can play that way too. And if you get back and you get the puck going the other way, you're not going to get hit as much. So I think that'll be a big key to this series. Edmonton Sports Talk is presented by Play Alberta. Why limit your choices when you can have it all? Play Alberta is your go-to app for casino games, sports betting, and lottery, all in one place. With easy access to real money games, you can enjoy everything Alberta has to offer right at your fingertips. Download Play Alberta now and start playing today. So, Jay, we got those new codes, right, for July. You can deposit. Well, we still have the YEG 50 one, right?
Yes.
You can make a deposit and get an EST exclusive $50 free bet. And what are the new ones for this month?
So you could get deposit 20 or more to get a $50 casino bonus using promo code EST Casino, or deposit 20 or more to get a $50 free sports bet using promo code EST Sports. Usable for new and existing players. These promo codes are good until June 30th. But given that, we're at this time where you're betting on some futures here with how you think the Stanley Cup Final is going to go, might be a good time to take advantage of those large odds.
That's a good point.
And go ahead and use the $50, because it's a $50 free bet. It's not $50 you can use, $10 here, $15 here. You have to put that as one free bet.
Right.
So you might as well throw it on something with some big odds.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. 780-218-9999 is how you text us, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. If you're watching us on YouTube, keep hammering the thumbs up. 24 away from 200. Let's get there, everybody. It's been a bit of a slow build today. We still have Chris Cuthbert scheduled to join us in about 10 minutes. He's a great guest. And because he's on in that segment, we're going to do the double word of the day now.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
All right.
Okay, the first word of the day for you, Riedrich. Griseous.
Oh.
Griseous.
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 Okay, so when I spell it, I always write down the obvious way first, like the way that comes into my mind, and then I try to think of
Griseous.
Griseous. That could be. That's probably that way, actually, now that I think about it.
Griseous.
Griseous. I'm going to go Grisious. No. Is it Griseous? I should have gone with my first instinct.
That was your first instinct?
My first instinct was with the E, so I got it wrong.
Oh, darn it.
Well, what can you do?
This is an adjective.
Oh, I got to do okay, it's an adjective, so I got to get the definition. Just hang on. Give me a second to think about it. I mean, this makes me think of gristle in a steak. Probably nothing to do with that. Eos, so it could be something that's perhaps refers to a quantity of something or something that is prone to be a certain way. I don't know what gris would come from. Can I have it?
What about if you said gris?
That doesn't help me. Can I get it in a sentence?
She looked up, her griseous eyes catching the light like old silver. Her griseous eyes.
She looked up, her griseous eyes catching the light.
Do you know a lot of French?
No.
If I said the word gris?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, you didn't look at your Crayola pens, did you?
Oh.
Gris.
Is it gray? So it's like her... It's something that is a shade of gray or pertaining to the color gray. All right. Well, I don't. It might only be like a tenth of a point.
I'll give you 0.25. I'll give you a quarter.
Get a quarter.
Point.
You really led me. You really led the horse to water, and I still wouldn't drink. You were putting my head underwater.
Second word of the day: multifarious. Multifarious.
Multifarious. So I'm pretty sure I know how to spell this one, or do I? Multifarious. Multifarious.
Spell that again, sorry.
Okay. MULTI. F-A-R-I-O-U-S. Multifarious. So it's something to do with many, because multi means many, multiple. So it is somebody who has committed. I'll say it is someone who has been convicted of many crimes or pertaining to many transgressions of the law. Wrong. Okay.
I can't give it to you. Something described as multifarious has great diversity or variety.
Oh, no, that's totally wrong.
Or is made up of many and various kinds of things.
Oh, I should have known that.
He participated in multifarious activities throughout college.
Oh, okay.
Now
I was thinking nefarious. Right?
I know. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Well, I try to think about what I can.
Well, 1.25 out of 4. There's always tomorrow. Tomorrow's game. Hey,
it's better than 0.
We ramp it up for game day, Reid.
That's true. That'll be good.
Let the spelling gods be on our side.
Now, speaking of tomorrow, game day. First of all, we have a great guest scheduled to join us in about 5 or 6 minutes. Play-by-play voice Chris Cuthbert. Tomorrow at 20 after 4, Dwayne Rollison is scheduled to join us on the show.
Wow.
Legendary
thumbs up for
the
that.
Key part of the 2006 run to the Stanley Cup Final. So Dwayne Rollison scheduled to join us tomorrow, which is pretty cool. So I got 1.25 points.
Not bad.
No, that's not bad. I mean, some words are more difficult than others. Or there's been a couple times I've stunned you that I've known a word, and I'm just like, I don't know, I just know it. Like a thumbnail.
Thumbnail?
A thumbnail.
A thumbnail,
you asked
right.
me a thumbnail?
I thought you meant, what's on the thumbnail? What, so you said you got your pass, your media pass?
Yes.
Is it going to be packed up there?
Yes.
Like wall to wall?
I think so. I don't know where I'm sitting.
Are you going to get kicked out?
Apparently, I know I'm in the main area, like the main strip. I'm not in an auxiliary area. So that's good.
Okay.
Maybe I'm close to my normal spot, my usual spot. That's pretty good. 5:35, we got a sports update with the Coop. Chris Cuthbert coming up when we get back.
Edmonton's Connor Brown missed practice this morning, being listed as a game-time decision for Game 1 tomorrow due to illness. Plus, the Oilers have signed 22-year-old forward Roby Järventie to a 1-year, 2-way contract extension. MLB action has 8 games live. Toronto and Philadelphia in their series opener. Toronto being smacked 6-0. Entering the top of the second. Also, in the top of the second, the D-backs lead the Braves 1-0. Elsewhere, the Astros and Pirates are runless in the top of the third, while the Marlins hold the Rockies 2-0 in the fourth. From Edmonton, the Riverhawks scrap the Harbor Cats just after 7. Listen to the full game right here on EST through any of our audio streams. We also see the Cactus Rats and Gulls with a date. That one goes at 7:05. On the other side of the break, Chris Cuthbert joins us. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
All right, hope you're having a great day. We sure have had one here at Edmonton Sports Talk. We're at the Global HQ in the good old Mayfield neighborhood of Edmonton. If you're taking us in on YouTube today, keep giving us a like. Hammer that thumbs up button. We're closing in on 200. We want to keep our streak alive here during the playoffs. And we're going to jump right into our Voices of the Game segment presented by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. We're more than just plywood. We offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. With a huge selection of hardwoods and knowledgeable staff, we're here for all your DIY needs. Windsor Plywood Leduc, the experts you need to know. And our Voices of the Game today is one of the top voices in our country, in the hockey world. I'm pleased to welcome back to the Reid Wilkins Show, Chris Cuthbert. Chris, you're on with Reid and Jay. How are you doing, sir?
Good to be back with you guys. Good to hear your voice, Reid.
Well, it's good to see you. You were kind enough to be one of the first guests on the show. You were very kind in the summer when I left Ched to be like, hey, man, hope you're going to a better opportunity. And I'm like, I am, and I'm going to be bothering you to be a guest. So you came through before the season started, and now you're here right at the end of the hockey season calling the Stanley Cup Final. We got to get, because you're a great storyteller, so we got to get some stories before we dive into the hockey stuff. I Googled it today. Google told me it's about a 5.5-hour flight from Edmonton to Sunrise, and you are no stranger to airplanes. How do you spend your time on an airplane, Chris?
Oh, I'm a boring guy. I am a binge television watcher, and The Wire's the latest one. But most of that flight down to Florida, probably going to be doing my game sheets and whatever. That seems to take a lot of time too. So a little bit of both, a little relaxation, but a little work to boot. And if 5.5 hours seems, I know one way last year we did have an NHL charter that made life a little bit easier, but it also meant a stop. I think we stopped in Kansas City, and the only thing more surprising than that was when we looked out the window, the Oilers plane was stopped right beside us. So I'm hoping the Oilers get a bigger bird this year so they don't have to make that pit stop halfway back up to Edmonton for what would be Game 5.
The Wire is a great show. My dad and I watched that a few years ago. That's it. The last season, maybe not quite as good, but it's really, really good. So good watching that. I should ask you as well about the prep you do, because people love this, right? Like, how do the play-by-play, like, do they remember everything? How often do they look down? How do they keep their notes? I mean, I saw Bob and Jack do stuff for years, and I think if you're on YouTube, Chris might have I don't know if he has a visual. He was just reaching for something.
Yeah, but reaching for something.
So there it is. So
there's the chicken scratch.
So Jack Michaels has like a folder for each team, and it never made sense to me because the forwards and D were all over. I don't know if you ever seen Stoff, but he gets a special book printed and he highlights guys based on their age and where they were drafted. How does Chris Cuthbert organize stuff?
Well, I kind of collect notes, so there might be a word or two anecdotal for an anecdote. I'm just looking here. Alexander Barkov, this is in the Leafs series. So when he scored his goals against Tampa, 4-time Selke nominee, 2-time Selke winner. Well, we could add one now. 10 consecutive 20 goals, 2 times 30. 1 2-goal season during the 1 2-goal game in the regular season. I usually like to highlight what his stats.
You mind holding it up again just for our YouTube viewers?
Sure. There we go. Color coded. I'll tell you what, Craig Simpson, of all the color guys I've worked with, he has the most elaborate notes. His aren't as fancy colored as mine, though. He's all black and white, and I'm amazed he can look down, knows exactly what he's looking for. I've got different colors for different things, like brown is the Stanley Cup career totals, and I've got now kind of a light blue is last year's Stanley Cup final totals. I'm a mess. But I keep the pencil crayon business in business. So there you go.
Well, people love that stuff, right? Because, and let's face it, probably almost everybody listening or watching has done play-by-play in front of their TV and pretended they're Chris Cuthbert or Bob Cole, or gone back and called a highlight with their brother, sister, or mom or dad. So it's fun seeing that. Are you? But I know when people ask me, and I haven't done play-by-play at your level, but people ask me, how does Jack know all the names? How does Mooner know all the names? Like, can you actually see the numbers from up high? And I often say, I think especially if it's team they call a lot, they just know the posture and body of the guy without having to see, oh, it's 91, it's Evander Kane.
Right.
But you're bouncing around a little bit. What's that like for you?
Yeah, back in the day, back in Foster Hewitt's time, I know he felt like he could just, they didn't wear helmets, so that was easy. Right. Easier. There are a lot of rinks where you're up pretty high. Florida's medium high. I'll tell you what, Edmonton, where Jack's called the game, that's as high as it gets. And I remember calling one game in Edmonton up high, and they were wearing the orange sweaters. And it took me a little bit just to make sure that really is McDavid with the puck there, because that's how high it is. It's almost impossibly high. Where we are in Edmonton is down low. I like it to be a little toppier than where we are in Edmonton, but for identification purposes, it's very good. Dallas was very good, and yet sometimes you get a body turn, you see one of the digits on the back of the sweater, but not the other, and you make a mistake. I did a Florida series. I've done the Oilers now, and it's pretty comfortable. Names are the least difficult of I think everything that a veteran play-by-play guy would do.
Chris Cuthbert joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Chris, I grew up listening to you. Like many others, we have a chat that goes on during our show, and I'm seeing comments. Grew up on Chris Cuthbert, and I can include myself in that. You started in 1984. You've called it all. You've done CFL, NHL, the Olympics. As this is the Voices of the Game segment, I was wondering if you could share a story as to who was somebody that you thought was one of your biggest mentors when you were early in your broadcasting career.
Well, I'll give you two answers, because the first name that popped in my mind was Dan Kelly, John Kelly's father, who was the voice of the St. Louis Blues, and now John is a longtime voice of the St. Louis Blues. I went to bed at night with a radio under my pillow, and back in the day, KMOX in St. Louis was everywhere, so you could probably listen to it. I'm guessing you might even have been able to listen to it in Edmonton, but I know that through almost all of the United States and 6-7 provinces, you could hear KMOX. So Dan Kelly, among a few others, I listened to a game every night, whether it be St. Louis or the Toronto Maple Leafs or Bob Wilson. What a great voice of the Boston Bruins on WBZ. Sometimes Chicago came in. You got Lloyd Pettit, who went on. He's one of the rare play-by-play guys that got rich and I think bought a team. And I think he was the owner of the Milwaukee Admirals later on. But Marv Albert with the New York Rangers. Sometime you sometime could get the and CBC Radio on Sunday nights. So I do remember Bob Cole getting his start when I was 13 or 14 on Bob Bob Cole doing Sunday night radio games. So that's the first part of it. But when you get into the business, for a mentor, it was Dick Irvin for sure. Although I also grew up in awe and wanting to be somebody like Dave Hodge. And Dave was the host of Hockey Night when I started, and I was intimidated to be in the same studio as Dave. I remember hearing my first few broadcasts where I was doing a very bad Dave Hodge impersonation because I wanted to be like Dave. But when I got going, I remember Ralph Mellenby, before I started, I actually started with Super Channel in 82 or 83 because they wanted a way of getting Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers on the air more. And so Super Channel became a pay service where you could get Super Channel and you get Oiler games. So that's how far that goes back. And so the Oilers were the perfect product for that. Anyway, I'm getting long-winded, but Ralph Mellenby, when he hired me, said, I want you to go watch Dick Irvin in the studio because I started out as a host, and he said, he's the right guy to learn from. Well, I go into the studio and watch Dick, and within 5 minutes, I thought, this is the worst possible guy for me to break in with, and the best. And the only reason I say worst is because Dick made it look so easy. No notes. They said, Dick, we need you to fill for a minute and then throw somewhere. At 59 and a half seconds, he would end his perfectly executed thought and send it back to wherever, to Dave Hodge or whoever. And my thought immediately was, wow, I can't do that. But Dick was great, showed you the ropes, was a great historian, loved to talk about the game, and I listened to every story about Danny Gallivan. And, when I first sat at the Montreal Forum in Danny's seat, Dick reminded me of the responsibility of what comes with being the voice in Montreal at the Montreal Forum on Hockey Night in Canada. So, I could go on forever, but when you start at Hockey Night in Canada, and there's Bob Cole and there's Dick Irvin and Dave Hodge and Ron McLean and Harry Neal and Brian McFarland and so many more, you're lucky to be in the club, and you better get up to speed in a hurry.
Chris, that's incredible perspective. And I just want to, this is a snippet of a thing that I remember probably from when I was 7 or 8. And I don't even know if Jay is quite old enough to remember this, but you'll remember Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday was not a double header. There was a 6 o'clock game. And sometimes the Oilers would play at 6 o'clock at Northlands Coliseum, and Edmontonians would have to watch Montreal, Boston, or Toronto, whoever, hence still some of that long-standing East-West stuff that we won't get into. But I remember Dick Irvin, so all the games had ended, so Dick Irvin was voicing a highlight pack of the games that everybody didn't get to see, and Gretzky had one of his nights, probably 5 points in a 7-4 Oilers victory. And then he transitioned to the next set of highlights by going, meanwhile in Toronto, where normal people were playing hockey. And that still stuck with it. It was like, how creative was that? Yeah. Gretzky had this superhuman night. And then that's how he goes to the rest of it. Chris,
Dick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'll just leave you one quick one. You're right. I think we started the doubleheaders 92, 93. CBC moved me from Edmonton East for other reasons. And a year or two later, immediately I was back flying west every week for the doubleheader games. So
I know we wish you could have stayed in Edmonton the whole time, because I know you loved it here. So I know Ontario's home for you too. Okay, we got 4 or 5 minutes left, and thanks for being so generous with your time. To get to the hockey, I mean, man, oh man, like the Oilers against Dallas. Like I texted a few people after that, people I know, and Jody Shelley, who was on the show yesterday, I texted him, and people were like, they just took the Dallas Stars apart, which wasn't necessarily supposed to happen. What sort of struck you, especially seeing the games in person, about how the Oilers played in the West Final?
They were a machine. It was impressive. And I think when you start out and you look at one, we heard a lot of hype about Dallas and how good they were going to be. And I looked at that goaltending matchup and you thought Ottinger versus Skinner, is that going to be a difference maker in the series? It was, but it was the Oilers' difference maker, but all business. And, the thing that struck me as much as anything, the way they played the series was just Connor McDavid's interview with Gene after it was over, and how level-headed and I'm not going to say lacking in emotion, because clearly it was an important step and he was savoring that, but very clear on how this team is so focused on the big prize and nothing less. So it was you're right. They took Dallas apart. Cautionary note, Florida did that to Carolina, and once they get going against Toronto, they took the Leafs apart in Game 5 and 7 with as dominant a performance I've seen too. So I think it's going to be an iconic final. I don't think it's just going to be a great final. I think it's going to be one we talk about for a long time. I hope I'm not expecting too much, but I am expecting something really special.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I know you got a great goal call. I hope you're ready to call a lot of body checks and also a lot of just digging for the puck in the corner for 20 seconds at a time. I think there's going to be a lot of action along the boards too. Yeah,
Florida, they punish. They really do punish. I know Zach led the playoffs in hits before he got hurt, and man, we're going to miss him in the final. But when Sam Bennett hits, he takes people out. So it's going to be more physical than I think we've seen. But it's kind of the irresistible force and the immovable object. It's a classic matchup in a lot of ways, and this sequel should be better than the original.
Chris, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate you being so generous with your time and hopping on our show. My rhythm is a little different now, doing an afternoon show as opposed to the evening show, so I'm not sure if I'm going to see you at a morning skate or a practice, but I'm glad to see you now. Jay's happy to see you as well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Great chatting with both of you, even if you made me feel a little bit older there, but that's okay. So, we'll see you at the rink. I hope so.
Right on. That is Chris Cuthbert checking in. He will be doing the television play-by-play in Canada for the series, Rogers Sportsnet, CBC. Just an awesome, genuine human being. Love talking to him.
It's that voice. The voice. I mean,
well, so many people were like, there's hockey. They're just hearing hockey when they hear Chris hop on. Really appreciate that he did that. And I checked. I asked if would you want to come to the station? Like, Edmonton, you'll know where it is. But he's like, well, I can't make the station, but we'll do video. So that was pretty cool. Okay, another great show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us that thumbs up on the way out if you can. We still got a chance to get to 200, but pretty respectable total nonetheless. So we're back on. So we got Riverhawks tonight, 7 p.m. We'll be streaming that on the audio streams. 6 a.m. our live stream resumes. And we're 3 to 5 tomorrow. GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5. Big thanks to Zachary Kubish. He's Jason Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins. Have a good evening.